when the drugs were stolen. Since his testimony in January, more witnesses have given testimony implicating Sinona in wrongdoing. He's also been placed on precautionary suspension with his state gadgets seized. Khomezo Modise, Eyewitness News.
KZN Police Commissioner Clement Manyathela says it appears there is a growing standoff between the police service and the NPA's investigative directorate against corruption. Mkhwanazi and crime intelligence boss Dumsani Khumalo presented themselves at the Brooklyn police station in Pretoria yesterday after being requested to do so by IDAC. They claim to have been informed that IDAC obtained warrants for their arrests in connection with an investigation they say they know nothing about, but they were not arrested after investigating officers received instructions not to execute the warrants. Alfara Mushwana reports.
KZN Police Commissioner Clement Manyathela says the NPA's investigative directorate against corruption and the South African Police Service appear to be at war. Manyathela claims IDAC's attempt to arrest him and crime intelligence boss Dumisani Khumalo may be linked to an investigation they've been conducting into 3 IDAC officials.
Because that's how the information came to us, and early in the week and confirmed yesterday. So we suspect perhaps something's got to do with it. The only unfortunate part, actions of this nature are the ones that are going to distract the team.
IDAC has yet to clarify why it instructed Manyathela and Khumalo to present themselves to police. Khumalo's lawyer, however, claims the investigating officers were ordered not to proceed with the arrest. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News, Pretoria.
More than 1,000 Malawian nationals have been deported to their home country. They travelled with buses from Durban through the Beitbridge border yesterday. Zimbabweans who were at the Lindela Holding Centre were also sent home, but it seems illegal cross-border movement along the Limpopo River continues. Demakatso Leshoro has more.
Many of the women, including mothers travelling with their children, were in possession of documents confirming their illegal status in South Africa. They were escorted by public order police convoys into Musina, while most were reluctant to speak to the media. One of them told EWN she is relieved to be leaving South Africa to go back home.
So what are you going to do now in Malawi?
I like pieces, chicken, I'm selling, every day I'm selling business.
Even as they prepared to leave South Africa, some deportees showed little acknowledgement of having entered the country illegally.
Were you legal in the country or illegal?
No paper.
Are you going to get the papers come the right way, or what do you think?
No.
That sentiment is not uncommon along the stretch of the border. Just kilometers away, Zimbabwean border jumpers continue to cross the Limpopo River using raft boats, often transporting goods into South Africa to avoid paying custom duties. As the sun sets over the Hachirudi land, there is no sign of drones or Border Management Authority patrols along some of the known crossing points. Despite speeches about stricter control over migration, including soldiers deployed to protect this area in Hachirudi, illegal movement across the porous border continues. Demakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News, Musina.
And U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance is now expected to arrive in Switzerland over the weekend to discuss next steps with the U.S.-Iran agreement on ending the war in the Middle East. Vance was supposed to be in Geneva today, but the White House announced last night that his trip has been delayed. Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Mojtaba Khamenei said last night that he had approved the agreement despite reservations, even as the U.S. lifted a blockade of Iranian ports. The signing of the deal on Wednesday by Trump and Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian set in motion a 60-day period for talks on wider issues between the two foes, including the Iranian nuclear program. Iran's chief negotiator Mohammad Bagher Khalibaf has warned against any breach of the agreement, saying Tehran will respond decisively and to any breach. Vance told reporters at the White House that the deal is a win for America.
If the Iranians don't change their behavior, their military and their nuclear program is still destroyed. If they do change their behavior, then they are going to have a transformative relationship with the Middle East, and the Middle East will have a transformative relationship with the people of Iran. That's a win for the American people and for the President of the United States.
Gold is trading at $4,138.02 an ounce. The rand is at 16.51 to the dollar, 21.77 to the pound, 18.86 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $79.88 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on Bedford View along the N12 and the R24 West approaching the Kiluli's interchange while traveling towards Amalgam, queuing traffic on Main Reef Road. This is just as we approach Crownwood Road. In Melville, we still have got that major accident scene along Peri Herzog Avenue right near Judith Road, causing delays.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 16 and 19 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. It promises to be an eventful day at the Madlanga Commission as tainted KwaZulu-Natal Hawks boss Lesitja Sinona is expected to return to the hot seat.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Visit primemediaplus.com to enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie.
For Joburg, by Joburg, in Joburg.
Bamise bonke.
You're with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Nine minutes after 9 o'clock. Dumelang. Happy Friday. Welcome to the Clement Manyathela Show on this 19th day of June. It's great to have you with us here on 702. I hope you're well this morning and that your week has gone pretty well so far. It's a Friday, and every Friday we do Gratitude Friday on the 702 open line. So give us a call on 011-883-0702 and tell us what you are grateful for this week. What happened this week that reminded you how blessed you are? You can send WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. My goodness, so much to talk about on the 702 open line this morning. Hey, let's start with Bafana Bafana. How did you find the match yesterday against the Czech Republic? It was a 1-1 draw, a disappointing first half for Bafana Bafana in my view, but there was just no attack, and our defense was poor. But they came back strong in the second half, and you could tell that they were desperate to win the match. And thanks to Vincent Magwenya, who stepped up in the second half with a few minutes to go and gave a penalty to, quite frankly, rescue the team. So the match ended 1-1 draw, something to keep Bafana Bafana's knockout hopes alive. Here's what Hugo Bruce, the coach for Bafana Bafana, said after the match.
One mistake. Everyone knows that number 5 is throwing very far. And still in the beginning of the game, we're surprised by that. It's a pity, but again, I'm very proud of the performance of my team today.
And in terms of the crowd in Mexico, it was very much a home crowd today, very much behind you.
I think the public shows the best football team. The Czechia team is very powerful, and they are very tall also, and you saw also they just kick the ball in front and hope that someone of 195 had the ball and can push it back. But we did it very well. The second ball was 7th time for us. So again, a fantastic performance.
So that's what Hugo Bruce said. How did you feel watching the match yesterday? Were you on the edge of your seat until that penalty went in? Are you feeling relieved? Are you still frustrated by how the team is playing? And let's be honest here. Do you think Bafana Bafana can still make it out of the group stage? Let me know your reflections. 011-883-0702. And then, what on earth is going on between IDAC and the SAPS? Apparently, IDAC told Crime Intelligence head Dumisani Khumalo and another intelligence official to present themselves at a police station in Pretoria, which suggests that they were about to be charged, right? Apparently, they were even told to bring an overnight bag, which is quite bizarre if you think about it, to tell someone you're about to charge to bring an overnight bag. I mean, is that courtesy always extended to everyone they ask to present themselves to the police station? And then when they arrived at the police station, they were told, no, you don't need to present yourself anymore. And reports now suggest that this was because of an intervention that came somehow somewhere higher up, because there was concern that the anti-immigrant march on the 30th of June is approaching, and General Khumalo, as the head of crime intelligence, is working on ensuring that there's intelligence so that law enforcement officers can be better prepared. And that on its own is quite concerning on different fronts, this intervention. And maybe it's a conversation for another day. But I'm interested on who intervened and where did they get the authority to do that? Because that's interference. I mean, if really there was intervention from either the police minister or the president, that sets quite a problematic precedent. I'm worried about that. What if IDAC argues that, but we have a strong case against the people, and you are worried about something that's coming up in 2 weeks, and you're trying to intervene to prevent things getting out of control? And I'm not saying that IDAC has a strong case against Khumalo and this other intelligence official. But again, we'll have that chat another day. General Mkhwanazi was also present in Pretoria yesterday, and he said he got intelligence that he was also going to be arrested in 48 hours. So he presented himself to also verify whether he's the next to be arrested. It's clear that there are people at IDAC who are fighting with people within the SAPS, and this is not good for us as a country, not with all the troubles we're facing in our law enforcement agencies. And I guess what concerned me the most yesterday was hearing General Mkhwanazi warn that there will be blood on the streets if these tensions between IDAC and the SAPS continue.
The intelligence we received yesterday was that they've given themselves 48 hours to make sure that myself and Khumalo are behind bars, because they believe that we have secured warrant of arrest for IDAC officials, which was, I did not believe that story, that there's something like that, because there's no warrant of arrest. And from where I am, there's not even an investigation that involves anyone from IDAC. So why would you come with warrant of arrest? And a person who makes up a story, I thought it's just a story that is flying. But when Khumalo told me today that he's received a phone call by IDAC that say he must present himself at the station, so I thought the 48 hours that we were warned about yesterday, it's real. That's why I came here, so that first I can confirm with Khumalo to see the phone numbers that called him. And also, if IDAC is here, I might as well say, here I am, if you need me as well. But to my surprise, then Khumalo gets another phone call that says that he doesn't have to present himself, so because of some executive decision.
Executive decision. I wonder what that executive decision is. What do you think needs to be done here? I see some people are calling on the IDAC head, Andrea Johnson, to resign. What are your thoughts? Oh, and the MK party has expelled Duduzile Zuma Sambula, a former member of parliament and the daughter of the party's president, Jacob Zuma. And the party spokesperson in Nhlamulo Ndlela was also expelled. They've been accused of engaging in activities that contravene the party's constitution. And the party also accuses Zuma Sambula of repeatedly using public platforms and social media to promote factional narratives, challenge leadership decisions, and expose internal matters. So that's another update from the MK party. Who knows next week who's going to be expelled or removed from their position, because my goodness, it's becoming a weekly or monthly affair, isn't it? At 10 o'clock, we're going to do our Across the Desk feature, and today we're doing a World Cup roundtable. So we'll be assessing Bafana Bafana's campaign. We'll unpack the biggest stories of the tournament, dissecting the title race, and asking what this World Cup really means for African football and for South Africa's footballing future. I'm also interested in other aspects. You see, Messi scoring his first ever World Cup hat-trick against Algeria. I mean, this man turns 39 during this tournament. And I think we may be watching the greatest player of all time sign off in style. Mbappe has also been great, becoming France's all-time top scorer. So there are many moments we'll look at between 10 and 11 o'clock that have transpired throughout the World Cup and look at what could possibly happen in the next couple of weeks. At 11 o'clock, though, we're going to do our relationship feature. And today we'll be discussing Netflix's The Polygamist. And I want us to look at what The Polygamist teaches us about relationships. I will be joined by Dudu Nhlabati Madonsela, who's a relationship and life coach. I'm looking forward to that chat. Looking forward to your reflections as well on this Netflix series in as far as relationships are concerned. That's the show coming up over the next 3 hours.
Clement Manyathela, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Otto, you calling from Pretoria. Good morning.
Hey, Clement, how are you?
Kimnat, wena?
I'm complaining doesn't help. My biggest concern with Bafana Bafana is that there is a pattern of passing the ball back to Conway Williams. There is some allergy to build from the back and really press on and attack. And I think that's what's causing us a lot of problems. Because if you look at the Mexico game and you look at the first half, it was a copy and paste, mirror image. Nothing different in terms of their tactic. And I think that's one of the biggest issues that I have with them. Yes, the second half, they tried to come alive. However, also the biggest concern is that once they reach the 18-yard box, it seems as if the tactics are manufactured at Lutuli House. There's no decisive action. No one is willing to shoot, attempt at goal, or do anything of that nature. And that, for me, is a very big concern.
Those passes to Ronald Williams were crazy. But also, they were just the passes amongst themselves as well. It was just weak. They were losing balls so easily when confronted by the players from Czech Republic. Khotso in Pretoria, thank you. TT in Pretoria, what do you think? Hi.
Clement Fede.
Sure, brother. How are you?
Sharp. Look, you know what got us the attack in the last few minutes of the game is the fact that we played our own Kasi South African football. I think Brazil is where it is today because of that. They are playing their own football. We don't play Western football, and Western football is the one that Hugo Bruce wants to put onto us. Rona, we are short pass people. We are not long passes. We are short passes. And when I've always been pushing for Relay to be in, because Relay understands that. And we need Relay in the front because he's confident, one. Two, he plays Kasi football, and that frustrates the Westerns. And when they get frustrated, they make mistakes. And hence we got what we got yesterday because we were playing Kasi football. So I think if we just stick to that, we'll go far. We'll go very, very far. Should we make it through to the next round? I think there's still a chance, but it's maths. It's either by way of the performance of other teams. Obviously, we need to beat
But we also
Korea.
need to beat Korea.
Yes, we need to beat Korea and obviously the third place playoffs for all the groups.
Yeah.
But if we play Kasi football, I'm telling you, Clement, we're going to go there. And if we can use Mbogazi for his shots more, because I don't think anyone takes shots like him. I don't think so. I think we're going to go far.
TT in Pretoria, thank you so much. It's 21 after 9.
Your voice,
your station,
your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
Hi, Clement. You know, every time I listen to the stories about the SAPS and IDAC and what is going on at the Matlanga Commission, I realize that there's really a bigger fight. There's people high up in the ranks that are involved in this nonsense, and they do not want this thing to come through to them. That's why you see this issue of always intimidating Kumalo and Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. These are just intimidation tactics.
Yeah, and how else do you describe it? Because have they shown us that they've got a strong case against Kumalo? I honestly haven't seen any of that. But you're right. There's a really big fight going on here. And I mean, guys, also, In fact, we must find the clip of, remember when General Mkhwanazi said, if the intelligence officials start fighting each other, it's going to be a crisis. I think General Mkhwanazi, when he appeared before the ad hoc committee, was warning that the minute you're going to have intelligence officers fighting each other, there are also like stuff that's going to be revealed that the public shouldn't really know about. Like all hell will break loose. And it seems like we have entered that arena already. Because Khan is arrested. He's about to appear possibly soon at the Madlanga Commission. That's someone who has been in the intelligence apparatus for quite a while. You've got Dumisani Kumalo, who has been arrested. Now there are these back and forth with IDAC. Do they have a new case against him or not? And why do they tell him to present himself and then tell him again, no, don't present yourself? What's going on? And this is happening during a time when we know the rot in our law enforcement agencies, when we understand what's been exposed at the Madlanga Commission, and we must have people fighting each other. And remember I told you in the beginning, after General Mkhwanazi held that July briefing, and I said to you, I think this is a much bigger fight that's got to do with internal factions within the SAPS, and I still very much believe so. And yes, it may very well be that one faction is good, the other faction is bad. But people are fighting here, and some people just wanted positions. Remember when the Hawks position opened up? What happened? People wanted to be the Hawks' head. They were fighting for that, trying to implicate potential candidates in wrongdoing because they're scared they will get the job because they want the job. It's so messy. And it doesn't help when we are already facing an SAPS that is so rotten from what we have seen. And not entirely because there are SAPS officers who are doing their job, who love their work, but it's been infiltrated. And that's the reality we're facing. And now we must now deal with a head of intelligence who's busy having a back and forth with IDAC. Where's Andrea Johnson? Are they just going to keep quiet because we've asked them for an interview? They don't want to talk. What do you mean you don't want to talk? Because you are also accountable to South Africans. You can't be calling these top officials and saying, we are calling you to come and present yourselves, and then you change your story. And then we're told there's an executive intervention and you think you don't owe South Africans some kind of an explanation? Quite interesting. It's 25 after 9.
Upgrade your home at unbeatable prices. Design Plus Interiors huge warehouse clearance sale in Wynberg is now on. Visit us at 17 6th Street, Wynberg for exceptional savings on quality sofas, bedroom suites, dining sets and accessories. This is your chance to get quality furniture at reduced prices. Stock is limited. Once it's cleared, it's gone. Design Plus Interior Furniture Warehouse, 17 6th Street, Wynberg.
Every great business starts with a problem, one you may have experienced yourself. Nedbank Business Ignite 2026 is looking for entrepreneurs who've turned that pain into purpose and build solutions that truly make a difference. So if your business is generating between 1 million rand and 20 million rand, you could get the funding, mentorship and support you need to grow with Nedbank as your partner, plus access to Simply Biz to help you scale sustainably. So if you're solving real problems and ready to take your business further, visit igniteyourbusiness.co.za or primemediaplus.com and enter today.
The world is moving fast. Consumer mindsets and preferences are changing in real time. AI is creating new rules and timelines are shorter than ever. At Plus 94 Research, we help leaders reduce uncertainty. We deliver authentic, real-time data grounded in proven methodologies and powered by relevant, cutting-edge technology. So when decisions can't wait, you move forward with clarity, confidence, and impact. Plus 94 Research, the science of decision making.
One goal, every nation. All eyes will be on the beautiful game as the world's greatest soccer spectacular takes center stage. Step onto the field with Hollywood bets and prepare to score massive wins. You could win a share of 2 million rand in cash and cars. Bet 10 rand or more on any soccer fixture, online or at your nearest branch. Feel the power, live the passion. Alagasha, bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Kaelo Lifestyle, a mental wellness and support program for employees and their families, is calling on you to take a step towards better mental health. As the mental wellness partner of 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, Kaelo is bringing even more purpose to the walk. From checking in with yourself to celebrating connection, every step is designed to support your well-being. So rally your team and walk for mental wellness. Visit primemediaplus.com for more information. Kaelo Lifestyle, changing lives and improving business. On 702, let's walk the talk.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
On 702.
28 minutes after 9. Larry, you're in Lenasia. Good morning.
How's it, Clement?
Hi, good
Thanks
night.
again for a very fair show. I'm one of your good listeners. Clemens, I just want to know, man. Check, we have a coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do all the other teams have coaches, right? If you check these coaches, what they're doing, they're always on the line. They're encouraging their players. Our coach, okay, it was only the second game now, but the first game he sat there as a spectator. Whilst we were battling, he sat there as a spectator.
Even in Mexico, I was so frustrated because you could
Right.
see
Now,
the Mexican
yes,
coach was going, pouncing up and down, and our coach was just chilling there.
Exactly. So now this is my point. So yesterday on your radio, you had three people who was talking about development of soccer in the country. Right, so I listened, so I called in. And the one guy says to me, no, the coach doesn't have to do that because they are professional players. I mean, I respect what he said, but I don't agree. Then we could have had our coach doing virtual kind of thing. Why must he go all the way?
Yeah.
Why must he go to the soccer ground? No, man, he can't waste our money like it. When he came out yesterday, I think he gave our players some encouragement. Look, they didn't play that well, but they played okay.
Yeah, true, Larry. I hear you, but also, I mean, he's a different coach, so I think coaches have different styles, and he's not a type that's gonna go up and down and screaming. Well, there are certain moments that are gonna get him to get up and do that, as we have seen even yesterday. But generally, he's quite a calm, relaxed person. Hey, does it work for you? Does it not? Let me know if you agree with Larry. Here's a WhatsApp voice note on IDAC and the SAPS.
Good morning, Clement. As for IDAC, there's a lot going on there. I mean, they summon him, Kumalo and Mkhwanazi to appear in Pretoria, and then soon they change. It means there is political war that is going on that we don't know, and it's gonna affect our country. But things will come out very soon. We will know the truth about South African Police Service. Good show as usual, Clement. Vincent Leon Daly.
Thank you, Vincent. A quick correction there. Mkhwanazi was not summoned by IDAC. Mkhwanazi only voluntarily decided to go and present himself as well to find out more information, because he says he also got intelligence that he was going to be arrested within 48 hours. So it was only Kumalo and another crime intelligence official who were summoned and called to come and present themselves at the police station. But Mkhwanazi decided to go and find out, okay, is it true that you're also planning to arrest me? And if so, I'm here. It's 9:31. Sfiso has the latest in Eyewitness News headlines. More of your calls and WhatsApps after this. Good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Police forensic expert Captain Lawrence Makgatlo is expected to learn today whether he will be granted bail. The Pretoria Magistrates Court is set to deliver its ruling after hearing closing arguments last week. Makgatlo faces charges linked to the alleged tampering of crucial ballistic evidence in several high-profile murder investigations, including the 2024 killing of engineer Armand Swart. The DA says its national survey has exposed how more than half of the country's police stations are unreachable to the public. The party says its nationwide audits of 1,025 police stations was conducted across all 9 provinces using officially listed contact numbers. The party says a total of 571 stations did not answer, while more than 400 answered one or both listed numbers. And 35 people have been killed after gunmen struck Niger's largest airport, and this making it the second attack in less than 5 months. The BBC is reporting that residents of the predominantly Muslim country had just finished their morning prayers when explosions and gunshot sounds rang out from the Diary Hamani International Airport in the capital. Niger's defense ministry says the fatalities comprised 22 assailants, 11 soldiers and 2 civilians. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
While traveling in Melville, we still have got delays along Berry Hertog Avenue. This is due to an earlier accident that was causing hectic delays along this route, and it still is. So please try to avoid this route if you can. It's Berry Hertog Avenue towards Judith Road. While traveling on the Mark 1 North, we've got some issues approaching the Crown turn off. There's also queuing traffic on the M2 West. This is between Elof Street and the Crown interchange. That's due to an accident as well as roadworks along this route. At this point, heading towards the Joburg CBD could take you about 30 minutes. Then if you're traveling in Bedfordview along the N12 West, some queuing traffic there approaching the Kilulis interchange. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The 702 Josie, My Josie Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people, for the people on Sunday, the 26th of July. Babiza bonke. But why don't you get a taste of what Walk the Talk will be like? So this Sunday, Josie My Josie is having another Main Street Sundays, taking over Marshalltown and flipping the script on how Josie moves. One whole street in the heart of the city, close to cars, just people, vibes, and the Main Street magic. 702 Soulful Sunday with Kenny and Pushaza will also be there, broadcasting live from Main Street Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Go to josiemyjosie.com for all the details and to grab your free tickets. And let's show the city what happens when the streets belong to the people. And what's more, you can also register for Walk the Talk at Main Street Sundays or enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Joburg.
You are not dreaming. You are repeating. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Insurance, pineapple. Pineapple FSP 48650 is underwritten by Omart Insure Limited, a licensed non-life insurer and authorized FSP.
Work doesn't start when employees arrive at the office. It starts with family responsibilities, financial pressures, and the challenges of everyday life. And when life feels overwhelming, performance suffers. That's why Gayelo Lifestyle provides confidential, emotional, financial, legal, and well-being support for employees and their families. Because when people feel supported, they're more focused and ready to perform. Gayelo Lifestyle. Visit gayelo.co.za.
Attention! Are you 18 to 30 years of age? Is your bedroom giving basic? It's time for a transformation. Cashbuild's Pimp My Room is back. Selected contestants receive 10,000 Rand for a room makeover, plus amazing advice from our expert partners. The winner walks away with a big prize of up to 60,000 Rand to finish their renovations. Follow Cashbuild on social media to get one step closer to your dream bedroom. cash bill.
702 is in conversation with Capitec, discussing how South Africans can protect themselves against financial crime.
Criminals really seek out society's most vulnerable, and often what we've seen is often your older parents or family members who are lonely or looking for companionship. So we generally see the profile being people in their 50s, 60s and 70s who may have accessible savings and a bit of a pension fund they've built up, and they come from a generation where trust is built up through conversation and consistent presence, right? And what we've seen, as you said, is that these scammers invest weeks and often months in building what feels like a genuine relationship without even mentioning the money. And this is probably the most dangerous component. That by the time the trap is sprung, that emotional bond is now real, and that person, the victim, really feels they're in a legitimate relationship. And really what you need to understand is that it's not one person sending out random messages.
Yeah.
These are really organized syndicates with scripts, teams of operators, and they know the psychological weapons to deploy.
Slam the scam with Capitec. Capitec is an authorized financial services provider and registered credit provider.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
23 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Clement, good morning. You know, yesterday when I was listening to Mkhwanazi, I watched him on TV yesterday. You could tell that this man is a man of integrity. He's serious of what he's doing. He loves his country. But there are distractors behind him. People who want to destroy this country. And for you, you are in war. We are at war with these people, Clement. And I'm assuring you, if we can find 10, 15, 20 people similar to Mkhwanazi, the country could be better. But coming to Bafana, I can dare tell you, Clemens, I have the confidence in Bafana, but I watched South Korea. South Korea, it's a problem. I watched them losing to Mexico this last game around 4 o'clock. What a match. South Korea is going to come on us. I don't know how we're going to deal with South Korea, but I don't see Bafana progressing. I'm sorry. Thank you, Andy from Cape Town.
Good morning, Clement and fellow listeners. I mean, what kind of a game is the NPA playing? Why will they issue a warrant of arrest for Mkhwanazi? What is the charge? Huh? Who are they trying to protect here? Because they know very well that now Ntantam Mkhwanazi is the head of organized crime. So now people are there in the Madlanga Commission, now they have to answer. Who is this kingpin that they are trying to protect? And how long do they think they are going to protect whoever they are trying to protect? Things are out in the open now. They have been doing as they please for a very long time. So they've been tasked. They don't know. It's only a matter of time. I wonder who's going to the Chuki this weekend prison special.
Hi, Clement. I think we must acknowledge one or two things. Our leadership of our country has a tendency of not reacting with speed when mess is beginning. I'm talking about IDAC. IDAC need to be dissolved as a unit because it has got rogue element in it. And these elements are going to destabilize the work that we are trying to do in terms of making sure that SAPS becomes a credible organization. So the sooner our government reacts, because if they do not react, Clement, we must take matters into our own hands to make sure that we deal with the IDAC decisively.
Oh, but then what do we do? Are we always going to dissolve these organizations? Remember the Scorpions before the Hawks? That was taken out. And now IDAC. I think there's a much deeper issue. And for as long as we're not dealing with that deeper problem, the consequence is always going to be organizations or institutions that also has people who are playing politics and are possibly, as some of you have suggested, are trying to protect certain powerful people. It's just not making sense, the fights that we're seeing. On the YouTube line, because some of you are watching us on the YouTube page, you can go to the 702 YouTube page to watch and listen listen to the show at the same time. But on YouTube, Strini says, Clement, welcome back. Enjoy the day and the weekend. Nelisiwe says, Clement, I hope you've had a rest. You've rested after the marathon. And then Kiurapetsi says, Clement, I've lost hope in Bafana Bafana. The only present player was Mbogazi. We couldn't even complete 5 consecutive passes. And then on YouTube, also Tabo Moroke says, Clement, we need to win, but we still don't start with Rele Mofokeng. I don't understand what's going on with our coach. Let's hear from more of your WhatsApps on 072 702 and 702.
Hi, Clement. Yesterday I told Tabo that Bafana Bafana is going to play a draw because they are playing against a very strong team, organized and physically strong. So congratulations for that draw, but it was expected. Facing Korea, I don't think we'll make it. We are now without Tembazwani, Debo Mufukeng, Stole. So our middle field, it's a little bit exposed, but we'll see what will happen when we face Korea. Yeah, anonymous again in Matlosana.
Hi, Clement and the listeners. You know, I was watching. It took a while for me to register that we scored because of the cheers. I didn't expect to have anyone cheer for us that much. So I thought we missed, and they were happy we missed. Oh my goodness. But when I realized they were cheering for us, yeah, it's shame. It was wonderful to see. Thank you. Bye.
Good day, Madimecha. I was happy. I'm happy with the play yesterday and with the results. Not entirely happy with the results, but I'm okay with the results. I think how we played yesterday is how we should have started. We should have opened the tournament. We should have played like this. Had we played how we played yesterday with Mexico, we would have came out of that game with a draw or maybe a win. We wouldn't have came out of that game with a loss. So I think good play yesterday, but all in all, it's a bit too late because we are going to come back home. We've got 2 red cards. On top of 2 red cards, we also have got, there's so many things that are going to be taken into consideration when they're deciding the 3rd place winner. So obviously, those things are going to factor. And also looking at the games that are upcoming. So I think we are going to come back home. In the next game, we are going to play well, but I think we're going to come back home.
Morning, Clement. As long as there are people who are suspended, Nkunu, Sibiya, and others, we will continue to have problems in subs because their runners are still in the system. So, yeah, we are still going to see problems or experience problems. For you from Kagiso.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. When is our next match? I think on the next match is on the 25th. Yeah, 25th against South Korea. So let's see how we're gonna perform then. 17 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Joburg, it's time to show up for our city. On Sunday, 26 July, join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk in proud partnership with Standard Bank. Walk through the heart of Johannesburg, celebrate its rich history, and experience the positive growth taking place in the CBD. As a committed partner, passionate about the growth of our city, Standard Bank invites you to be part of a movement that's helping build a safer, stronger, and spirited Josie for generations to come. Register now and take the walk that brings Johannesburg together. The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank.
It's lunchtime and Mr. D has you covered. Open the app, pick your favorite meal and enjoy free delivery between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. No restrictions, no hustle, skip the line, stay at your desk and let us bring lunch to you. Plus, every food order on the Mr. D app gives you a chance to win exciting prizes. Download the Mr. D app now and make lunchtime effortless.
The world's best male and female paddle players are coming to South Africa. The historic Premier Paddle Pretoria P1 will be at Sunbet Arena Times Square from 26 July to the 2nd of August. Expect world-class action, unbelievable energy, premium hospitality, and an atmosphere unlike anything South African sport has seen before. This is Africa's biggest paddle tournament ever, and tickets are selling fast. Don't miss your chance to witness the sport's biggest stars in South Africa. Get your tickets now at primemediaplus.com.
Let's hear from Al, owner of Johnson's Cable, why it pays to switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance.
I thought it was going to be difficult to switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance. Switching was so quick and easy. I'm happy with the premium that I'm paying now.
For electrical, tradesman services, and all other businesses, get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to OUTsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Your voice,
Your station.
your open line
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela.
on 702.
14 minutes before 10 o'clock.
Morning, Clement. Morning and welcome back, leadership. This is Joy in Pretoria. Clement, yeah, kushubile ko IDAC, ko SEPS, and most of our law enforcement. These chaps, they went there not to save the country, but to play politics and to be corrupt and steal. Most of them, I know they are still credible police or law enforcement chaps, but now Shubile leadership, they trying to protect whoever the kingpin of the big five by trying to issue or trying to arrest Mkwanas and Kumalo, and they're not gonna win that one. We are watching, and we are watching closely as communities or as South Africans.
Yeah, but also, how delusional are they? Do they really think that South Africans are just going to stand back as they go after the people who seemingly have revealed so much about the rot in the SAPS and how police are working with criminals? And listen, I'm not suggesting that Mkhwanazi or Dumisani Kumalo are angels and they don't have their own weaknesses. I don't know. It may very well be that IDAC has some strong case. I don't know. But on the balance of probabilities, we are dealing here with two people. The first group has revealed so much, which has led us to this point where we've got the Madlanga Commission and we've got so many revelations that are helping us clean up the SAPS. And we've got another team now that's trying to target the very same people who have exposed the rot in the law enforcement agencies. And they think South Africans are just going to sit back and think, oh, no, it doesn't work like that. And the fact that Andrea Johnson is just chilling and not even doing interviews to provide clarity as a leader for IDAC is quite shocking to me. It's 12 minutes before 10 o'clock.
The Clement Manyathela Show is in conversation with Yoko on 702.
So, 702 is now in conversation with Yoko, discussing their new technology, tools, and ideas designed to help independent businesses grow. So independent businesses, are often called the backbone of South Africa's economy, right? They employ millions of people, they create opportunities, they keep communities moving. But in an economy that is under pressure, many entrepreneurs are still fighting to survive. 11 years ago, Yoko was founded on a simple belief that independent businesses deserved better. And since then, more than 200,000 businesses have used Yoko to accept digital payments for the first time. This week at Yoko Next, the company unveiled its latest innovations aimed at helping entrepreneurs not just survive, but grow. So joining us now are two of Yoko's co-founders, Lungisa Machoba and Carl Wazen. They're joining me now in studio. Lungisa and Carl, thank you so much for coming through. Good morning.
Good morning, Clinton. Good morning to your listeners.
So the economy, as I said there, is quite tough, and we hear it every day. You've got independent businesses that employ about 60% of South Africans, but are they actually surviving, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure is measurable. I think the data that we have on 200,000 merchants suggests that the situation is quite challenging at the moment. Our own data shows that 77% of Yoko merchants say that global conflict is affecting their business.
Mm-hmm.
More than half of them are feeling less confident than they were at the start of the year. And also half of them are seeing consumers spending less than they were since February. So these are real businesses. We know them. We also know that these businesses don't really have a safety net, right? They're independent. They're mostly self-funded. They're small, they're important, contribute roughly 40% to the economy. So it's quite a significant part of South Africa. But they have been dealt, in a way, an unfair hand by a system, not to nobody's fault in particular, but it's just how the system has been built, as to kind of make them excluded and kind of feel alone. But at the same time, they are very good at bouncing back. We actually see that in our data as well. Whenever a small business shuts down, for instance, the owner pops back up a month later with another business. They're very good at, they're very resilient.
Yeah.
So that's the story, that's the bravery, right, that we see. So I think while the pressure is on, they also have an amazing spirit, and they're used to things being challenging, especially here in South Africa. So
and that's the interesting thing about our businesses here, that level of resilience.
Yes.
I mean, even post-COVID,
that's right.
We were able to see some of them really be able to bounce back. So, Lungisa, Yoko had a big launch this week. For some listeners who may not know who you are, who is Yoko, and why should independent business owners in South Africa care right now?
Thank you, Clement. I think the important thing around Yoko is maybe just starting right from the beginning. 11 years ago when Yoko launched, we really launched into a market where, if you think about it, as a small business owner, you were dealt a little bit of an unfair hand in that the large companies were accepting card payments and you couldn't. So if somebody walked through your door, they'd often walk out and go where they could actually pay with their card. We saw this opportunity in the market, and it was at a time when nobody was paying attention. And I think that's really who Yoko is. It's the company that pays attention to small business owners no matter what. We've chosen who we are focused on. We've chosen why it's important to us. And for us, we truly care about small business owners. So I think really when it comes down to it, we are the people who pay attention to small business. And when we look out, back then it was about how do we provide card payments to small business so we can level the playing field. I think for us is now looking forward, and we look at our base of 200,000 customers and growing, it's really about saying, how do we give them an unfair advantage? How do we get to a point where, as a small business, not only can you compete, but you can now start to do better? So I think really when it comes down to it, who Yoko is, we're the business that wants to give an unfair advantage to small businesses.
Yeah, Carl, let's look at what you launched this week. I understand there's a loyalty product, there's something around AI. What do these actually do for a business owner?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's been really exciting coming out of our Yoko Next event on Wednesday, where we launched over 20 new products and features. This was the most ambitious product announcement that we've had so far. So I'll maybe touch on two of the product announcements. The first is Yoko AI, which is a reveal, so it will be live in Q3. But this is off the back of us acquiring a company called Diner that has built really advanced AI-driven software for restaurants that essentially acts as a team of experts that gives you insights that you previously would have had to spend hours or days looking through your data for. And the great thing about AI is that it can actually think quite ahead. And what it does is, using the data that already exists in your systems, it can give you every single morning the exact thing that you need to be focused on. So think about it as an assistant, but also a team of analysts that you could never afford as a small business, giving you every day almost the set of priorities that you need to actually make sure that you're focused on the right thing, because you're a team of one as a independent business owner.
Yeah.
And you have to be everywhere all at once. So the best way to do that is to actually give you the most important things handed to you in a very simple way. So think about two examples. You need to know if there are any strange anomalies in your business. You want to know if there's any theft happening. You want to know if there's any mistakes that have happened in the way, for instance, certain products were loaded or certain invoices were processed. This tool can actually give you every day, this is not matching with this, which is strange. Have a look at it. Maybe you can figure it out yourself. And the business owner usually knows exactly what it is. It just needs to be simplified and narrowed down to a specific set of things. So see it almost as a team of analysts that are giving you the data that you need at the right time. And even better than that, it helps you act on it. So another product we launched this on Wednesday was Yoko Savings, which is a way for you to set money aside for your goals. Let's say your goal is you want to buy a coffee machine by the end of next year, and you want to know how you can afford it. So you set the price, and then Yoko AI can tell you exactly how much you need to ring fence in order to afford it by a specific amount because it actually knows your turnover. Now, what you can do in the AI system is ask it to create that savings pocket for you. You don't even need to do it manually. And it basically just sets it up for you, and your money is being ring-fenced and saved every single day until that coffee machine can be afforded. So think of it as an assistant that actually does work for you, but also brings you data that previously you would have to spend hours trying to find.
So interesting. You are the headline sponsor for 702's Gauteng's Greatest Campaign, where Gauteng nominates their favorite independent businesses across multiple categories. Why is this alignment important to Yoko?
Yeah, this is very important to us. I think obviously from the one perspective is we're literally supporting the very customers that we serve and the very businesses that we care about, whether they're using Yoko or not. It really comes down to this is really for the SME end to end on that front. I think the other part for us is, the reality is during the early days of Yoko, we ourselves entered a similar type of competition focused on SMEs by the Prime Media Group, and that catapulted our own growth during the early days. So being able to now support the growth of other businesses that are independent as they're trying to obviously do very similar things and get their start is extremely important to us. So I think that strong alignment with the SME is the key for us. I think the other part for us is just recognizing business owners who are doing well. Because I think there's two parts to that. One, that recognition obviously is great for the business owner. But two, if we're not out there who's aspiring and looking at these businesses, you start to get a spotlight of who's doing well, what are they doing, what's happening in the market. And, we obviously want to inspire other people to get into business. And I think the best way to do that is to create visibility for business owners who are doing exactly the kind of things that lead to business success. So I think those things for us have always meant a good alignment. And any opportunity to support small business is important to us.
Yeah. Well, Carl and Lungisa, thank you so much for coming through and speaking to us.
Great to be here. Thank you.
They said you didn't belong. You backed yourself anyway, and you did it on tools that were never built for you. Yoko changed that once, giving you access to payments when others turned you away. Today, they're going further. The tools that used to belong only to big business at a price built for small business. From AI that understands your business and tells you what to do next, to loyalty that keeps your customer coming back automatically. One platform built for your reality. Yoko, let's grow.
The future of business, innovation, and growth in South Africa. 702 in conversation with Yoko.
If you think you cannot afford a lawyer, think again. Clientele Legal has made professional legal services affordable. You receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. Our range of plans include cover for you, your spouse, children, and extended family. Plans include cover for civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Whether it's protection orders, gender-based violence, uncontested divorce, or poor service, your Clientele Legal lawyer will be there to assist you. Our services are convenient. Simply pick up the phone and call your lawyer or send us an email and we'll get back to you. All plans include a bail benefit of up to 5,000 rand and we'll go to the police station and pay it for you. Plus, Clientele Legal offers you 24-hour telephonic legal advice. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
John, where are you rushing to?
Sure, I'm off to SARS. I need to check if I must file.
Wait! SARS sends auto-assessment notices from 1 to 12 July.
Done. Just like that?
Yes. If you get a notice of assessment, check it. If it's correct, you're done. If it's incorrect or you did not receive one, file from 13 July on e-filing or the SARS Mobi app.
I could already be done.
This filing season, experience the power of done. Expect your auto-assessment notice from 1 to 12 July or file from 13 July via e-filing or the SARS Mobi app. Go to sars.gov.za. SARS, at your service.
Gauteng is currently experiencing high water consumption. To avoid water interruptions, residents are urged to use water sparingly to allow equitable supply. Act now. Save water. Every drop counts. This message is brought to you by the Department of Water and Sanitation, Rand Water, Gauteng Provincial Government, City of Johannesburg, City of Tshwane, and City of Ekurhuleni.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu.
Tainted KZN Hawks boss Lesotho Sinona has roped in prominent advocate Dalim Mpofu onto his legal team. Sinona is back to the hot seat this morning for his much-anticipated testimony at the Madlanga Commission. Since his last appearance in January, more witnesses have placed Sinona at the centre of a multi-million rand drug theft in Port Shepstone. Before Sinona could begin his testimony this morning, Mpofu addressed the Commission.
One of the things we have been asked to do is to ensure that there will be no straying outside of the subpoena that has brought us here and the specific issues that are raised there, which is the feeling of the General and us that the issues that he has been asked to deal with have actually been dealt with in his first appearance here.
Staying in the capital, the Pretoria Magistrates Court is delivering judgment in the bail application of police forensic expert Lawrence Magwenya. The senior ballistic cop was arrested last month on charges linked to the alleged tampering of forensic evidence in two high-profile murder cases. He's accused of sabotaging the murder investigation of vereniging engineer Armand Swart. Magistrate Johannes Kruger is currently delivering judgment in his bail application.
With reference to count number 3, the witness is of the view that this case against the applicant is strong. It stems from a murder case raised under case number 111/1/18, where a firearm of a husband was recovered where his wife was killed.
Nkoskona Malingamnisi reports on the case.
Magwenya's arrest follows evidence presented before the Madlanga Commission relating to alleged interference with ballistic evidence connected to Swart's murder. Prosecutors have also linked him to allegations of a similar offence dating back to 2018. The court has heard that Magwenya was allegedly found in possession of 38 rounds of ammunition when he was arrested at his Pretoria home in May by members of the Commission's recommendations task team. Earlier this month, the state filed an amended charge sheet containing 2 counts of being an accessory after the fact to murder, as well as a charge of unlawful possession of ammunition. The prosecution argues that Magwenya is a compromised police officer who poses a flight risk and could interfere with ongoing investigations if released. The defense meanwhile secured an early victory after the court ruled that evidence flowing directly from Magwenya's testimony before the Madlanga Commission would be inadmissible for the purposes of the bail application. Or see Khona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
The DA says its national survey has exposed how more than half of the country's police stations are unreachable to the public. The party says its nationwide audits of 1,025 police stations was conducted across all 9 provinces using officially listed contact numbers. The party says a total of 571 stations did not answer, while more than 400 answered one or both listed numbers. Party spokesperson Jan de Villiers is calling this a constitutional crisis.
More than half our police stations cannot be reached by telephone. This is not a bureaucratic failure, it is a constitutional crisis. A police service that cannot be contacted is a police service that cannot protect.
And 35 people have been killed after gunmen struck Niger's largest airport, which is the second attack in less than 5 months. The BBC is reporting that residents in the predominantly Muslim country had just finished their morning prayers when explosions and gunshot sounds rang out from the Diora Hamani International Airport in the capital. Niger's defense ministry says the fatalities comprised 22 assailants, 11 soldiers and 2 civilians. An Al-Qaeda affiliate group has claimed responsibility for the attack. Niger has been fighting an insurgency for a decade, and in January this year, an organization linked to the Islamic State group claimed responsibility for the attack on the same airport. Gold is trading at $4,138.02 an ounce. The rand is at 16.51 to the dollar, 21.77 to the pound, 18.86 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $79.88 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident in Salby along the M2 West. It happened near Boysons Road. It's causing delays coming out of Heidelberg Road. There's also queuing traffic along the N12 East right at the Kiludis interchange. That's due to roadworks.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 16 and 19 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Tainted KZN Hawks boss Lesetja Sinona has roped in prominent advocate Dalim Mpofu onto his legal team at the Madlanga Commission.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie, walk the talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's walk the talk. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856.
92.7 and 106 FM.
Six minutes after 10 o'clock, Dumelang, Sanbonani. Good morning. Welcome to the second hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. I trust you are good this morning. Remember, at 11 o'clock, we're going to do our relationship feature. And today, I'm going to be talking to Tutun Shabati Madonsela, a relationship and life coach. And we'll be talking about Netflix's The Polygamist and what it teaches us about relationships. Apparently, a lot of you are quite triggered. So, Dudu Shabati Madonsela will help us understand some of the relationships that are coming through in that series and what it really teaches us about our attachment styles and about how our traumas sometimes can inform how we somehow evolve later in life. So that's a chat at 11 o'clock. But right now, we start with our Across the Desk feature.
Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
And on our Across the Desk feature this morning, we're doing a round table on the World Cup. So I want us to assess Bafana Bafana's campaign. I want us to unpack some of the biggest moments of the tournament, dissect the title race, and also ask what this World Cup means for African football and for South Africa's footballing future. I'm interested in your thoughts, your reflections. If you have been following the tournament, you can call us on 011-883-0702. You can send your WhatsApps as well on 0727021702. In studio with me this morning, we've got Simpiwe Dlulu, former Banyana captain, soccer coach, football analyst for SuperSport, here in studio with us. Simpiwe, thank you for coming. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I thought you were seated there. When did you move? I was like, whoa. Thank you so much for coming through. We also have Tolagele Mganga, who is a sports anchor and reporter here at Eyewitness News. Tolagele, thank you for coming through.
Thank you,
Thank you for sacrificing, for coming to work earlier.
Having lele.
Normally, so how have you guys been following the tournament? Like, have you been choosing which matches to watch, or have you been intentional about watching everything?
Because I'm an analyst, I try to watch everything. Because when you catch up on a game, it's not the same as watching it live, real time. However, Lama time zone 93, I 100 America, Besa Pindabe 3 Canada, America, and Mexico. Plus in the time zone, you haven't South Africa. So it's been hard, but I've been enjoying it because on SuperSport you get to see the highlights, the live games, and you get to catch up a lot more. So it's nicer, because the catching up is easier. And because I 3 mangabe equal time the same day.
6.
It's hard.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
Well, how do you do it?
I pick my favorite players and I follow their nations. Then everybody else, I will watch as
Argentina.
Yeah.
France?
Why do you say it with such judgment? Argentina, France, number one, of course, is Bafana Bafana, ride or die, no matter what happens. And then all the Manchester United players, wherever they are patched, ask these guys, I'm ride or die for that team as well. So you just follow them, and then ask is like, boy, Canada, I wish them well, but my life will not be changed whether or not they're a success.
Or not. Okay, and we'll get to the other teams, but let's start with our boys. What's your assessment of their performance from Mexico to what they did yesterday in Atlanta? Do you see a change? Like, did the coach take some lessons from what happened in Mexico from what we saw yesterday?
This is what Canceli Visaga coach if he didn't.
No, let's send the jet until that penalty.
What I love about Coach Hugo Broos, and he always says that a good coach is able to change his mind and relook at the plan that works.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a big change, humongous change compared to how we played against Mexico. And for some odd reason, I'm sort of understanding why he wanted to start with ultra defensive, because none of those players have been to the World Cup previously, and you're up against the host. You don't want to concede an avalanche of goals. However, the plan didn't work out well because it didn't speak to who we are as South Africa and to our prowess and how we play. And they tried. And the personnel that was there in that 5-3-2, it wasn't a personnel that understands that formation and could execute with confidence. The game against Czechia yesterday, I was excited when I saw the lineup. However, I would have wished Makhupa would have started with that lineup because he's aggressive, and you could see when he came onto the field. We played our style. We built up when we needed to, and we hit the long ball when we saw spaces behind. We kept possession. Actually, yesterday's game, if you look at the stats, it's a total opposite of what we did against Mexico. Having 4 shots at goal, scoring that penalty, having ball possession, because we only went into the opponent's half twice against Mexico. And yesterday we played in the opponent's half. So there was a big change where the coach said, okay, let's go back to who we are. And I love that it didn't take him until the last game to do that. And you could see the confidence with the players and how we exuded confidence and who we are. So that for me was incredible to see.
I felt like we sort of delayed in our attack. I mean, in the first half, what did you think of? Because it's almost like, where was the defense? Where is the attack?
I think we need to be wary of saying, because he went ultra defensive in the first game, say to him, okay, put on all of your attackers in the second game. Like Coach said, all these players are making their debut at this competition. There's going to be nerves. There's going to be anxiety about them. They've spent a week listening to their fellow professionals and supporters constantly tell them, this is what you should have done. This is how you should have acted. So what the coach is doing is saying, one thing that he's done really well in this time with this national team is have a strong defense that has been led by Mbegezeli Mbogazi. Ime Okon has come on. Ronan Williams has always been the leader in the back. Yes, he's had his moments where he hasn't exactly been on form, but at the end of the day, he takes on the captain in the leadership role. So he was like, if we start by doing what we do best, which is defend, eventually the confidence will build and he'll bring on the players that have always had impact, especially as a substitute in the form of Evidence Makgopa. But I think as South Africans, we dreamt big when we found out that we were going to go to the World Cup.
The president said, bring back the
trophy.
cup.
And I think that's the thing that's really costing us, because what we're trying to do is essentially cheat football.
Yeah.
We haven't played at a World Cup since 2010, and we didn't even have to qualify for that World Cup.
Hosting.
We hosted it. So you guys are asking a team that for 16 years have never touched this
bring
level
back the cup.
to be in a quarterfinal. The likes of Ivory Coast, who've had golden generations, have never qualified beyond the group stages. Those are teams that have reputations on the continent, even in Europe, in terms of their club form. While we've got players where we're literally asking the Sundowns players that won CAF and the Pirates players that won the league, that together, guys, combine with your experience and make sure that you're doing something for the national team. But I will say, Hugo Broos, I think, especially in that first game, what the message that he gave to the people that watched the team is, you guys, the way you played in qualifiers was fantastic. But when we get to tournaments, it doesn't work. And can you imagine for the likes of Oswin Apollos, who were key players in qualifiers, all of a sudden for the first game, the most important game, you're being dropped to the bench. Specie wasn't really a regular starter for Bafana until we saw him on that team sheet in that first game. So I think there is the mixed messaging from the coach where you say, we want to play attacking football. We want to show the world who we are. But who are we when we finally get to that global stage?
Yeah. So realistically, though, can Bafana advance from the Group A?
They can advance, but obviously there's always calculators, because Mexico winning yesterday, if Czechia, if South Korea would have won yesterday, it would have given us a lot more hope.
Yeah.
However, you have to do it yourself because there's 8 teams that can qualify as a third best place. Because it's 48 teams, it's round of 32, it's no longer round of 16, so there's a lot more teams that have a chance. If we win, when we win against South Korea in the last game, it leaves us with 4 points. However, if we don't, and if we win there, we have to win at least by 4 goals, hoping that check ball in the World Cup has shown us that African teams are resilient, to be quite honest with you, because, I mean, we are not the only ones that lost. I mean, Tunisia fired their coach because they lost 5-1, you know,
was wild.
and this is a team that is known that in North Africa, they really dominate and play well, you know, so I do see us advancing to the next round. And even if we don't, there's still 9 more teams that you have a lookout to, because Africa has 10 teams and great teams. Out of the 10 teams that are at the World Cup now, only one has never won AFCON, and that is Cape Verde, who drew against world number 2, Spain. So that just shows you the quality we have in Africa. However, there's a lot more that we need to do extra to make sure we go to the World Cup to compete, not just play.
But I mean, even Cape Verde, where do they rank? Aren't they like 65?
They are, but you have to remember that they went on a recruitment drive to actually find players that whose grandmother or great-grandmother had some sort of heritage.
Yeah.
So they literally traversed the globe to find these players.
Even on LinkedIn, they had to find their players.
And their players are playing in Europe. Yes, it's not like the biggest leagues in Europe, but we often speak about exporting our talent, where we have to have players that are learning to play different styles of football. I was having a conversation with a friend yesterday that Rilem Fukeng, we consider him the player of the season within the South African League. If he's in the league again in 2 years or in 3 years when the next World Cup comes about, is his game really growing? Because he's already mastered the players that he's playing against. He needs to go to a different league. Bogazi, there was the argument about what can he learn at Chicago Fire.
Excuse me. Hello.
For the past 2 games, we've seen the talent for itself. So the quality players that we do have in the ranks, they need to be exposed on a different level. So they're learning different styles of football that by the time they're coming into the team, they are benefiting Bafana Bafana. Yes, there's a conversation about Lyle Foster that some callers will probably bring up to say he is in Europe, but we're not really seeing the advantage. But even though we don't see the goals for Bafana.
The Lyle Foster that we saw when Burnley got promoted is a different Lyle Foster that we are seeing now to a Burnley that got relegated. And it doesn't take so much away from him as a strong and a competent player, because when he left South Africa, he was on fire and he hadn't really made it into the Pirates side. But when he went, they found a gem. That should tell you something. So just like a Pesitao who has been to Belgium, has been to the UK playing as well. And I mean, if you look at Morocco, all of their players, they are not born in Morocco. They are born in Spain, France, Germany, Belgium, all over the world. But their structures under 17s, under 15s, under 20, 23s, they are doing something incredible, which is something that is a call to us to say, how do we improve on our junior teams? That's why Magwenya is performing so well. He's played for the under 17s and the 20s. He's been to the Olympics. That has been an investment for us. And that's what we are bound to get from Relay, from Apollos and all these guys. Ronwin, for him, he's also done the same route as Utebo Howe. He's played in the youth teams at SuperSport, being at Sundowns now. So we do have real investment. It's a matter of us being able to qualify for more youth tournaments and be exposed to playing teams in Europe that are great. When we got walloped by France 5-0, everybody was like, but actually Hugo Bruce said, I wanted to expose them so that they see what it means to play at the highest level. What happened? We came third in the 2022 AFCON, simply because of that.
And coach speaks about the structures. I think when the squad was selected, there was a lot of talk about why so many experienced players like Atemba Zwane, why you would take them. If Bafana had performed well at the December AFCON, Coach Hugo would have taken the risk of taking the likes of Chandra Campbell, of taking the likes of Tylon Smith. But he saw that this group, they went to their second continental tournament, and they froze on the big stage. So he couldn't take the risk of all of a sudden he takes 3-4 youngsters that have done well at under 15 and under 17 level. Then we throw them at the FIFA World Cup. What if we lose all 3 games? You guys are all of a sudden saying, oh, we don't have the quality there. We've seen what it's like. Bafana is a beast when it comes to supporters, where you can play well at club level, but the minute you wear that come 2030, we're not qualifying for another World Cup. we have to be consistently there. Even if we are qualifying for 4 or 5 World Cups in a row and we're not getting past the group stages, but at least we have a core group of players that know what it's like to be playing at that tournament.
Have we been fair to the coach? Because since we started in this tournament, listeners have been coming hard. I mean, one of the listeners called in today and said he was just chilling there, relaxing. He wasn't pouncing up and down, especially in the first half. Have we been fair? I mean, he got us to this point. So clearly he's done something good.
When you are great, excellence is the next thing we demand from you. Yeah. And that's what South Africa has been demanding from the coach. I, for one, was upset as well because I know how Hugo Broos is able to be structured and think critically and come up with a plan that will suit the style we want to play and how we want to compete. So it is fair for South Africans to feel like that. For the past 6 years, Bafana Bafana didn't fill up stadiums. Bafana Bafana had lost hope. Fans, when you say Bafana Bafana, like, I mean, saying baby rugby, saying baby cricket and all of that. But for the past 4 years, Bafana Bafana has come out and has shown that we can compete in Africa. Nigeria knows they cannot come into our backyard and just do however they please. Any team in Africa, even club level, they know they can't just bulldoze our boys from South Africa. So the fans knew what Hugo Broos is capable of, what the boys are capable of, because he showed us we are a weapon. So when we didn't, it's like we were just holding on to the gun and saying, at the right time we'll shoot. And we didn't even take a aim to shoot. That's why South Africa and everybody's had an uproar to say, no, we should have gone and then played our own way, our own style. But also, because we just want results at that time, we forget how did it lead up for us to go to the World Cup. We haven't won a single match this year. The last game we played against Cameroon, we lost in AFCON in the round of 16. And then you look at the friendlies that we've played. We've drawn, we've lost. We haven't won a single match, which means the confidence was a bit low. And hence it speaks to how the coach wanted to start. Let's start defensively to be organized and strong. If you are able to block punches that are coming at you, when you eventually take a jab and hit right hook, you know that you're strong. So that's what we were demanding from him, to say, but Matala, why sing the way we are used to playing? But we forget also there's a lot at stake. You don't want to kill your team in how they'll get annihilated in the game. You also want to be able to go back to your default settings and say, we are able to play like this, we are able to compete and do that. Because even a Cape Verde that drew against Spain, they didn't play 4-2-2. They didn't play 3 at the back. They had 5. They had blocked. They didn't even have too many shots on target off, because Masu confident. There's no way of backing down and say maybe and being timid. No, you come out outright and you say bring on whoever you want.
It's 24 minutes after 10 o'clock. After the break, Cindy, Le, Maxwell, I'll start with your calls. We'll play some WhatsApps as well on 072 702 1702.
South Africa, your vote starts with registration.
Register to vote.
This Saturday and Sunday, the 20th and 21st of June. Make sure you're registered to vote, or check that your voter registration details are up to date.
To register where they ordinarily reside.
Whether you're registering for the first time or confirming your voting status, visit elections.org.za for everything you need to know. And stay informed with 702 Cape Talk and EWN for the latest updates, analysis, and developments throughout the registration weekend. Register, check, be counted.
Joburg, it's time to show up for our city. On Sunday, the 26th of July, join thousands of Joburgers for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank. Walk through the heart of Johannesburg, celebrate its rich history, and experience the exciting growth taking place in the CBD. As a committed partner invested in the future of our city, Standard Bank invites you to be part of a movement helping to build a stronger, safer, and more vibrant Josie for generations to come. Register today and take part in the walk that brings Johannesburg together. The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, proudly partnered by Standard Bank.
Sanzi, get ready for your chance to win big. This Friday, you stand to win over 160 million rand in total estimated Powerball jackpots. That's over 160 million rand that could change your life instantly. Watch it live Friday at 9 p.m. Will you be SA's next multi-millionaire? Get your ticket now. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sisekhaya.
Your neighbor's geyser burst. Now they're arguing about what's technically covered. Turns out it was the geyser, not the damaged ceiling. When yours burst, you called Santam's 24/7 emergency line and a plumber was on the way. No debates. You insured nice, not twice. Get free home emergency services with your building cover online or call 0860 444 444 to get a quote. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer, and a controlling company for its group companies.
At ASE, we offer clear pathways into the sound and entertainment industry. Our one-year hire certificate prepares you for entry-level industry roles. Our 3-year diploma goes even deeper. It is a comprehensive program that develops advanced technical skills. We also offer industry-focused short courses. ASE is where you turn your passion into a successful career. Get in touch with us on ase.co.za or send us an email on info@ase.co.za.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg.
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this boat.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Jozi. Babize bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
Across the Desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
28 minutes after 10 o'clock. We're doing a World Cup roundtable this morning, reflecting on the tournament so far. Let me go to your calls on 011-883-0702. Cindy, let's start with you in Kagiso. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement.
Sure.
Yeah, Clement. You know, I don't want to sound negative, but whoever says Bafana played well yesterday, I would disagree with them, because we are in a game of World Cup. We need points to move. Got 1 point. How can we celebrate a point? It doesn't help us at all. It's a point. And yesterday, what I've observed about Bafana Bafana, even in the first game, we had so much possession yesterday, more than the first game. But yet, most of that possession were in our own half, playing with the goalkeeper. Even when we were 1-0 down, we were playing with our goalkeeper starting the game from the back. We hardly go forward. How many shots at goals did we have in that position? Probably 4 shots of goals in that position. We had 5 corners. We didn't use them. So for me, we can't celebrate mediocre, really. They were supposed to win yesterday, and Korea is more stronger than Czech. If you can check. With 1 point, we now need a win, which we could have do ourselves a favor yesterday, knowing that in the last game, at least we can concentrate on a win or a draw.
Got you. Cindy Lane Kagiso, thank you. Maxwell in Pretoria, what do you think?
Credit must be given where it's due, Clement. I'll start with the DSTV Disc Challenge. I think talks must have following that situation. If Dr. Ivan Khosa, they didn't put that thing where we had Mboka, Zimba, Tankata, Mofokeng, Modiba, Apolis, a lot of players that they were playing last night there, they came from that development. Look at Safa, what they've done. Safa, they did nothing. You got Bruce when he came here, Clement. He did a wonderful job. We qualified for the 2 AFCON, of which we were not qualifying when Bruce was here. We even qualified for the World Cup since we hosted it 16 years down the line. So let's give credit where it's due. We might have made wrong tactics against the first game of Mexico, but yesterday the boys come with gun blazing against a European team, where a point for me, it's more than anything. I'm satisfied. If it happens we go and beat Korea, then we qualified. History in the making. We'll be qualifying for the first time in a knockout stage. The hope is not yet lost. We can be critical and otherwise, but at the end of the day, this Madala did us a lot of good job, Clement.
Maxwell in Pretoria, thank you so much. I'll get Simpiwe and Tolagele to respond after the headlines. It's 10:31. Swiso, hi.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Tainted KZN Hawks boss Lesetja Sunona has roped in prominent advocate Dalimpofu on his legal team. Sunona is back on the hot seat this morning for his much-anticipated testimony at the Madlanga Commission. Since his last appearance in January, more witnesses have placed him at the centre of a multi-million rand drug theft in Port Shepstone. The Pretoria Magistrates Court is delivering judgment in the bail application of police forensic expert Lawrence Magotlwe. The senior ballistics cop was arrested last month on charges linked to the alleged tampering of forensic evidence in two high-profile murder cases. He's accused of sabotaging the murder investigation of Vereniging engineer Armand Swart. And a French appeals court has confirmed that Moroccan football star Achraf Hakimi will stand trial charged with raping a young woman. In February 2023, a woman then aged 24 told police in southeast Paris that Hakimi had raped her. The Paris Saint-Germain player and captain of the Moroccan national team, whose side are playing their second World Cup match on Friday against Scotland, has consistently denied the allegations. And those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Traveling in Selby, we've got an accident on the M2 West. It happened right near Boyson's Road, causing heavy delays coming out of Heidelberg Road. About a 20-minute hold up there. Please be on the lookout. While traveling towards Amalgam, we still got delays on the M2 West between the Crown Interchange and Main Reef Road. Well, the good news is that accident in Melville has been cleared. Traffic is now flowing along Berry Herzog. Then if you're traveling in the city of Tshwane, Littleton, we've got an accident reported on Sabi Road right at Jean Road, causing heavy traffic volumes just as you come out of the N14. And speaking of the N14, we've got roadworks there right after the Braakfontein interchange. Please be on the lookout there. More updates at the top of the hour.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Across the desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 10:33 on our Across the Desk feature this morning. We're reflecting on the World Cup so far. And if you've been following this tournament, I'd like to hear from you. Give us a call. Send us a WhatsApp voice note. We've got Simpiwe Lulu in studio with us, former Banyana captain, soccer coach, football analyst on Supersport, and Tolagele Ganga, who's our sports anchor and reporter here at Eyewitness News. Any reflections on what the listener said before the headlines? One said, we're celebrating mediocre. Another one says, we've got to give credit where it's due.
I'll start. I'll start with the mediocre one. Guys, after 16 years, we cannot expect to waltz into the World Cup. Ronwen Williams said it best, where he was like, that after that first game, they saw that there's another level to the World Cup because these players have been there, they've done it, they're used to playing it. Debza was crying yesterday from just singing the national anthem. He hadn't even started the game. So that tells you that he even said in his post-match, as a boy growing up, he never thought he'd be at the World Cup. He's scoring his first goal. So beyond us as football fans expecting our team to win everything, these players are also dealing with their own emotions of having worked this hard to be 29, 30 and making your debut at a World Cup, because you would have thought that it'd be a regular thing after you had watched your nation host the tournament. But also, they are experienced players that are used to doing this week in, week out. For the likes of Hakimi, for the likes of Messi, for the likes of Ronaldo, this is just another tournament. It just so happens that it has the name of the World Cup. But for a Debza, a Relay, it's the first time they're playing it. So they're kind of trying to soak it all in. Yes, the Boks have set a really high standard in one sport that we expect to be translated into every other sport. But we have to be realistic that a team that has never played at a FIFA World Cup cannot all of a sudden be expected to bulldoze the likes of a Mexico. Even if Mexico don't play well, at the end of the day, they have a whole nation who gets to sing their name, who are supporting them, who are the 12th man to lift them when times are difficult. Czechia, yes, they don't have the big names, but they have players that are playing in the big European leagues that has taught them experience. South Korea, we've all seen the video of them training. We've seen the video of how they put so much effort into making sure players are physically prepared for the game. We've had the arguments, especially when our clubs go into the CAF competitions, where you see the physicality, especially of the North American teams, where a lot of our players are just being pushed off the ball. Can you imagine that once you get to a World Cup, players are doing that week in, week out? Even that is a shock to their system because they're not used to that level of conditioning.
And I mean, to add on that as well, I wouldn't say it's fair to say we're a disappointment. However, when you're demanding excellence, then I can go with the first caller to say it really isn't us celebrating mediocre, but it is us celebrating the fact that we were able to redeem ourselves in such a confident way, in such a way that we gave hope to the rest of the boys that are on the bench at home and the youngsters that are striving to be in that Bafana team. Because let's think about it, we're a third world country, and in that, how many African teams have won the World Cup? Only Morocco has gone to a semi-final in 2022. What do the structures of Morocco look like? Where do these players come from? And I'm saying we demand excellence in a sense that these players need to understand the stage and the level that once you go into the AFCON twice back-to-back, now you are going to the World Cup. Also, personally, individually, you need to step up as well to say, I'm no longer just training once and it's it. After that, we're going to the mall. No. What else can I do to saying that we shouldn't be hard on the boys? We should be, because we are demanding so much more from them. And I mean, if you look at us, where are we ranked? 60th. And where's Czechia ranked? Much higher than us. So those are the things you look at. This is not just mini club football. No, it is the world football. Because even when you look at Ivory Coast, they won against Ecuador, 34th ranked. What does it look like for the next game? Ghana, they are ranked 74th and they won against Panama, whom we didn't win against. However, you are looking at us, we play Ghana, we beat them. So it's a game of football that is different. So to the second caller, I love what he says, which is that development speaks volume. And that development is just development. It's not just development in academies. It's competitive football that we get to see week in and out. Those boys that were exposed in the DDC, it means that they've been competing and striving to get to the highest level. The team that wins that league gets to go overseas and play big teams, your Man Cities, your Man U's and all of that. And Stellenbosch is one of those teams that has given us players coming out of South Africa. Pirates now has won it. It means that Abo really have set a standard. You know, SuperSport has done it before. Ocon comes from there. Even a Ronwin comes from those setups as well. It's a matter of us saying we need to demand more from the grassroots going all the way up so that we are consistently competing, because Africa is seen as countries that are just adding numbers. No, we didn't get those 10 spots in J. We got them on merit. And that's why you're seeing the results that you are seeing now, because we are there to compete. We are not there to participate. We are competing. Czechia could have hit us with 5. With those set pieces, how tall and all of that, because everybody was like, yours and Czechia outing step later to mark defenders and strikers in there. But as short as we are, I mean, you look at Apollos is 159. He's almost as tall as me. He's almost as tall as a corner flag. But what did he do? He got onto the field and he played. We played to our strength. So that is something you look at and say, we've actually improved from us not only having one shot at goal to having 4 shots on target where the goalkeeper actually made saves. That is a big leap in how we improved in our performance.
20 minutes before 11 o'clock, when we come back, we'll look at the other teams. Who are the favorites based on the opening matches? France, Spain, Argentina. There's some dark horses as well. That chat coming up after this.
You feel it long before it hits, the rumble of something big. That's 10Bet, where the stakes rise and every online game hits like lightning. Deposit 50 Rand or more and get the welcome offer package of up to 5,000 Rand. Join now at 10bet.co.za. 10Bet is a licensed betting operator and supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 shall be permitted to bet. Betting can be addictive. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
My name is Richard Sutton, and I'm the host of the podcast Shift Happens. This podcast is about you, about transformation, elevation, and becoming the best version of yourself. Each episode shares powerful, hard-won lessons from prominent South Africans who have faced doubt, change and early failure and emerge transformed. Don't miss Shift Happens, the tools, insight and skills to help you navigate the real realities of life. Now streaming on primemediaplus.com, the Prime Media Plus app, Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Across the desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
It's 19 minutes before 11 o'clock. We've got Simpiwe Dludlu and Tolagele Mkanga in studio this morning on our Across the Desk feature as we reflect on the World Cup tournament so far. And I want us to look at the other teams now. Like, who are the favorites to win the World Cup? I mean, France seem to be the current betting favorites at the top of the odds board. Spain, Argentina. What are you looking at?
For me, especially after the first round of games, I'd definitely say France. Possibly England could be one of the dark horses. With France, I think 2022 still lingers very much in the memory. And Kylian Mbappe, for all of his shortcomings at club level, when he wears the blue shirt, he thrives of being in that national team. And it seems like Didier Deschamps builds the team around him, and the rest of the players do well in making sure that they complement his game to make sure that he's playing his best possible game for the team to be successful. Messi, because it's his last game, his last tournament, he's probably looking to make sure that Argentina can qualify back-to-back, because there's always, especially in Argentina, they always have that debate about who's the better player between him and Diego Maradona. And I think he'll feel like, okay, I can edge him a little bit by winning that second World Cup. With England, I always feel like it's just our English Premier League bias that has us thinking that England are a good team. Harry Kane, unbelievable talent. Jude Bellingham, unbelievably talented. But I don't know if cohesively there's enough in them as a team that if those two don't play well, the rest of the team can lift the mood. And then Portugal, I don't know what they're going to do about that Ronaldo problem, hey? That is the biggest issue, where I think after Qatar, he should have stepped away and allowed the team to kind of rebuild itself. But you can tell that after Haaland started with the brace, after Mbappe got the brace, after Messi's got the hat-trick, it was like in his head, he was like, okay, it's my 6th World Cup. I've broken a new record, and I also want to be with the rest of the Golden Boot chasers to make sure that I'm doing well in this tournament. So I think those 5 would always be in and amongst the conversation. And then of the African teams, probably Morocco have the best chance of possibly being amongst the semi-finalists, quarter-finalists, so that Africa itself can also show, because the coach did mention that the rest of the world is kind of looking at this expanded tournament and saying Africa's making up the numbers. Even the UEFA president had come out last week to say, for him, he feels like the tournament has created more meaningless games because all of a sudden Africa have a bigger contingent. Because the biggest argument against having an expanded tournament is the European nations, who feel like they should be having more representation. But if this is world football, you need to include the rest of the world.
Must be fair.
It's 54 countries in Africa, excuse me. We're one of the biggest continents in the world, so... And these 10 teams that have been there, like I said, all of them have won the AFCON except Cape Verde, who came in and are taking over. They are on a dot in an island, then you don't think they exist, and they're there. They're showing up. They're not just making up numbers. So already we are up against the norm. We are disruptive as Africa. I mean, they are looking at us and thinking we can't compete. Even Senegal, they might have lost against France, but you could see that they were competing, scoring a goal and all of that. You look at Cote d'Ivoire, they, winning, Ghana winning. And I'm also looking at how we are able to put these 10 teams into the conversation to say they're coming in there, they're competing, they're playing. And I'm happy that you're speaking about Morocco, because everybody thought Brazil would just come in and wallop Spain. Morocco, excuse me. We were competing pound to pound. We scored a goal, and an excellent goal. Vinicius Jr., we didn't see him in there. Rafinha, we didn't see him there. Now they have to think about who's the next star that will step up. African teams are not a one-dimensional team that they are only relying on, one player, Hakimi, only to perform, but it's a collective, and that's what we are bringing there. And all these players are key players in their clubs, because all over the world they are populated. They are key players in their clubs. They are winning Champions Leagues. They are competing in Europa and all of that. So it just shows you we are not just picking numbers in there. And you mentioned Morocco. I'm seeing Senegal going past the group. I do see Cote d'Ivoire, they've won. I do see Ghana going through. And with that also, Tunisia have fired their coach, but have Renard.
He loves the World Cup appearance.
Yeah, he's there. He's the same coach that beats Argentina in their first game with Qatar. So it means they are going for the best coaches. It's not just, we are there for vibes. And that for me is exciting. Also, you look at the hosts, Canada, they won yesterday by 6 goals after a draw. That just shows you that they're stepping up now. Mexico, the hosts, I do see them going to the next round. However, I don't see them going all the way. Maybe the U.S. can go up to a quarterfinal because they've been solid in their performance. The first half for them wasn't as great, but in the second half, they started picking up and scoring all those goals. It just showed you that longevity and the experience of understanding that in the first half, you are acclimatizing. In the second half, you pick up, because we also saw in the games yesterday, most of the games, goals came up. Switzerland in the second half, Bosnia, they tried to come back with that. It was difficult. So also other teams, I'm looking at Japan and then the Netherlands. There are 2 teams that drew against each other, scoring 4 goals apiece. 2 goals apiece. That was class, because that's the game. That's what we are looking at when you come into the World Cup. England, it might be coming into their hometown, not their World Cup. I doubt.
Yeah.
I doubt.
It's 13 before 11. We'll take your calls and WhatsApps after the break.
When you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Nedbank is more than just a bank. We're a growth partner, because we understand that real success happens when you're looking ahead, spotting opportunities others miss, and planning for tomorrow, today. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Good morning, Mzansi. It's a beautiful Wednesday. It's Thursday. No. TGIF, am I right? Citroen Super Saturday is back. Yes. Test drive or buy any Citroen and stand to win a world-class rugby experience. South Africa versus New Zealand, 5 September. Double your entries with the all-new Citroen Basalt from 354,900 Rand with up to 40,000 Rand deal assist. Book at citroen.co.za. Runs till 30 June. T's and C's apply.
Winter Survival Kit 101. 7 blankets, check. 4 jerseys, check. 3 pairs of socks, check. 2 pairs of shorts, check. Or hear us out, you could just visit Chamberlain. Join us for our winter savings promotion from 18 June to 12 July and get everything you need to make winter a little warmer. From heaters, firewood and anthracite to geyser blankets, paint and insulation, plus friendly advice, helpful service and jog dog food for only 398 Rand. Less shivering, more living, much better plan for the whole family. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Switching was so quick and easy. I'm happy with the premium that I'm paying now.
Outsurance Business Insurance clients know that it pays to switch. And did you know you could get a guaranteed premium for 12 months even if you claim? For electrical, tradesman services and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Across the desk
with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
11 minutes before 11 o'clock. Let's start with your WhatsApps on 072 702 1702.
Clement, I think for African teams, it's about national pride, representing us globally, and also a continental empowerment. And you should also give credit to teams like Bafana Bafana, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Morocco, Cape Verde, also DR Congo. Remember, Ghana, they've managed to win their game, and also I put my money on Morocco only because of Saibari, anonymous again in Matlosana.
Good day, Clement. Good day, Senator This Abraham in Florida. Clement, Bafana Bafana had performed better than the previous game that they've played, simply because of having attacking midfielders that weren't there in the previous game. So for that, I think Matala saw that he had made mistakes and he corrected. And that's what we need, right? We don't need to fold under pressure. The upcoming game, I think we're going to win it because the boys are more confident. They are playing their own football. And as things stand, I think even the big teams are also struggling. That
cut abruptly there.
Good morning, Clement. All I'm saying is if South Korea blinks, they will get a hiding. They should never blink. I think we stand a good chance if we play the way we played yesterday. The only thing that bothered me yesterday was composure in front of goals. If we can just relax in front of goals and take our chances, we can beat Korea easily. We really stand a good chance. And the fact that our coach listened and changed, he was not stubborn. He didn't force things when they were not working. I like the fact that immediately when we came back for the second half, he brought in Mofokeng. That was a good substitute. So if they blink, I tell you, South Korea will get a hiding. Lerato, Kibla Park.
Okay, Lerato. Lesiba in Ekuruleni. Hi.
Good morning, rather.
Sure.
Good morning to your panel there. Well, I disagree with both Tolagele and Coach Shoti there when they constantly say rankings. I'll make an example. Look at Senegal of 2002 with the likes of Diouf, Sadio Diane, and the likes. They surprised the world. You understand? You go and look at our friends here in Ghana. 2006 and 2010, there was something else, and they were unknown. Why can't our boys do the same there and leave everything on the field and try to die for the bench? That is what I'm saying. Forget the rankings that we are playing against the team that is ranked number 2. They are just beginnings, as the coach once said, that are like beginnings. They reveal a lot, but not everything. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lisibe.
Zama.
Thanks.
Zama wena. Zama and go pound to pound with Spain and say, I'm going to play a 4-4-2 or 4-5-1. I'm going to go ultra attacking. You'll get walloped 10. With us talking about rankings, it is us not being oblivious to the fact that these players have been well developed. Yamin Yamal is almost 20. And he can do anything he wants at any time. If he's not performing, it's because he's the one that's not performing. It's not that the defenders are stopping him. We are at a level where we are competing and we are trying to say, okay, the first time I tried, it didn't work. I need a collective. We don't have individual brilliance because we are not as developed as the Europeans that have been doing this from as a 6-year-old to being a 20-year-old where we are confident to put him in the game. We've had an 18-year-old in the Moroccan side that is starting the game. He's gone to the World Cup. He won the Under-17 World Cup and he was in the Under-20 team that was playing the World Cup. That's why it's easy to bring him into the Moroccan side and say, be a dictator in there. But if he's with his fellow 20-year-olds, that Moroccan side is not great. That's why you need other individuals that are seniors, that are experienced, that are able to go out and play. A coach, when you go into the World Cup, first thing is that defensive organization, I need to be solid so that I can then transition from being defensive and then go into attack. Like I said, when you look at DRC, they went with a 3-5-2 in defense. They were going 5 at the back against Portugal. Why? Because they understand that there's a potent striker that is Ronaldo. There's a Penado, there's a Silva that is in there. There's a Fernandes that is in there. There's so many players that are great in that Portuguese side. You can't just go in and say, Sizobona Pambili. You have to have a structure and be able to know that there's key players in the team that can transition. Wisa was able to there. Bakumbu was able to go forward because of the quality that they possess as individuals, and in a collective setup, they are able to compete. We are not saying these stats and all of that because we are afraid. We are being fair to the fact that we are a bit behind. However, we are not overlooking the fact that we need to compete. We need to go in there, compete, and not just sit around and say, they are ranked higher than us. It's okay. We are okay with the results. We are not okay with the results. We are just saying, remember, if you're a Mark Tyson and you are just a Simpiwe Lulu coming in and say, I'll take you to 12 rounds, first round DKO.
And I think it was the first caller where he's saying the players aren't performing. They're performing to the best of their ability. It's just at the global stage, we're realizing that more is required. And that is what a FIFA World Cup does, where once we start the assessment, because there will be reports and there'll be investigations where we're saying, okay, unfortunately, Bafana Bafana doesn't have a creative midfielder. Temba Zwane, we took a risk by taking him there. He got red carded. He's not going to play the rest of the tournament. Coach Hugo doesn't really see Rile properly in that role. Sipho Mbule was a possible heir, but he's not there. So we go in, we spend the next 4 years trying to figure out who is going to be the creative force. We look at the goalkeeping department. Do we have enough strength and depth? Do we have people that can be there in that role for the next 10 years? The players are doing the best with what they have. It's just for us, we're sitting there and going, we want more. They don't have another more. And that's what a World Cup exposes. what the team needs to work on and what structures need to be developing in the players. Coach used the example of Oswin Apollos. Short player, great talent, but we need a winger that also has a plan B when plan A doesn't work out. So you go back and you say, teach those players that Mbogazi, he's not tall, he's amazing on the field, but even the coaches will tell you that his height will be a disadvantage when he comes up against the quality players. And when we speak about rankings, those teams don't get to 37, 34 by accident. Yes, they play in Italy and they lose 5-0, but at the end of the day, they play in Italy. South Africa plays the Comores, they play Nicaragua. What are you really learning from those games? You're not learning anything because you know that you are that bit better than them. But when you get to the global stage, you're realizing that actually you're behind the rest of the other national teams.
Mpo in Pretoria East, good morning.
Hi, Clement, how are you?
Sure, man, go ahead.
Good, man. I just like to disagree with your guest there. Because if you look at the stats, 1998, we made our debut. We played 3 games. We lost the opening game. We drew 2. And that was a squad that was supposed to say that we are in awe of these bigger stars. But those guys, they went out and took all the players. 4 years later, 2002, South Korea and Japan, we improved. We won our first game, the Peles and all that. And then 2006, we didn't qualify. 2010, we qualified. We won 1 game, we drew 1. Now it's 28 years later. We can't be in awe of the superstars and say that we are still learning, we're still in awe of these players. Then it means that we'll never progress. Look at Ghana. In 2010 in South Africa, they went all to the quarterfinals. Look at Senegal, their debut World Cup, they went to the quarterfinals. So as long as it's a mindset thing. As long as we don't have belief in ourselves, we'll always play this thing. I mean, this is our 4th World Cup play. You see, if I would understand if it was our 1st or 2nd World Cup, then yes, we'll be in awe of these players and all that. But it is our 4th World Cup. When are we going to progress to say that now we should be last 16? It should be a standard
with all of those players.
That's what his point is good. We qualified 98. We played 2002. We waited until 2010. It's 16 years. Within those 16 years, the Ghanas were playing consistently. World football changed. They learned strengths. They learned weaknesses. When were we learning those things? When we were going through the lean years and we were constantly changing coaches who had a different identity, then we had to go back to say, no, this is the formula that we're going against and this is what we need to change. Now that we're at this World Cup, there are lessons that are going to come from it for the man that succeeds Hugo Broos. And the plan is at 2030, you must be at that World Cup. Otherwise, we're going to sit for another 16 years, watch everybody. There are teams that were behind us in 2002 that have leapfrogged us because they are constantly qualifying for these. Even something like AFCON. You have to be there. You have to know what your peers are playing like. So by the time you get to the global stage, you can improve.
Charles, Egypt has 7 AFCONs. Yes. How many World Cups have they won? How many times have they gone through to the 16s, to the round of 16, to the quarterfinals,
They've never won a
to
World
the semi-finals?
Game.
They've scored for the first time in how many years of going to the World Cup? This is an Egyptian side that anytime you can bring them pound to pound with Bafana Bafana, it's not easy for us to go outright and win that game. There's a lot of things that we are forgetting. When you consistently compete at the highest level and consistently go against the best teams, you are bound to improve and be better. In the 4 years, it's a long-term athlete development space where in the 4 years you are able to produce. When Relay is 20 now, in the next World Cup he'll be 24. He will be our key player. He'll be a starter, a key player, and one we cannot live without. But right now, he's been inducted into the senior team. He's been shown what it means. He played against Cameroon, and he could not carry the team on his shoulders because he can't be doing that at this level. However, the whole blame shouldn't be going on him, but on our structures, on what have we been doing when it comes to 98, we were there with which players? Those players were hungry. About Dr. Kumalo were hungry to go to. They had won the AFCON in 96. 98 going in there. These players were already playing in Turkey, in Russia, all over the world. And we currently don't have the best players all over the world. They are in Africa doing what they know best. However, we can never look back on them and look down on them and say they're not competing hard enough.
Simpiwe and Tolarela, you guys have been great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
The 702 Josie, my Josie, Walk the Talk is calling on you to walk with the people, for the people, on Sunday the 26th of July, Babiza Bonke. But why don't you get a taste of what Walk the Talk will be like? This Sunday, Josie, my Josie is having another Main Street Sunday. He's taking over Marshalltown and flipping the script on how Josie moves. One whole street in the heart of the city, closed to cars, just people, vibes, and that Main Street magic. 702's Soulful Sunday with Kenny and Pushaza will also be there broadcasting live from Main Street Sundays from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Go to josiemyjosie.com for all the details and to grab your free tickets. And let's show the city what happens when the streets belong to the people. And what's more is that you can also register for Walk the Talk at Main Street Sundays or enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg.
Do you ever call you like to sell? But don't trust your uncle or your pal. Then we buy cars, it's just for you. Buying cars is what we do. We offer service with a smile. We always go the extra mile. Use a place that you trust and sell your car to us.
We Buy Cars, the easiest way to sell your car by far.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. We begin with news just in. Police ballistics expert Lawrence Makgotlwe has been granted bail. The Pretoria Magistrates Court has ruled that Makgotlwe has shown during his bail application that his release would not jeopardize or interfere with his upcoming trial. The senior forensic officer was arrested last month on allegations that he tampered with two high-profile murder investigations. One of the cases involves Vereniging engineer Armand Swart, who was killed in an alleged case of mistaken identity. Judge Johannes Kruger delivered the bail ruling a short while ago.
And the applicable provisions in the Criminal Procedure Act, the court is satisfied that the applicant has discharged the onus resting upon him. Accordingly, the applicant is entitled to be released on bail pending the finalization of this matter, subject to suitable conditions to be determined by the court.
Staying in the capital, lawyers representing embattled KZN Hawks boss Lesitsha Sinona have highlighted several concerns with the Madlanga Commission ahead of his testimony. Sinona is back in the hot seat and has roped in prominent advocate Dalim Mpofu onto his legal team. He is expected to testify on the multi-million rand Port Shepstone drug theft from the Hawks office, which previous witnesses claim only he had the keys to. Khomotso Modise reports.
The Madlanga Commission has spent most of its time this morning being addressed by General Lesitsha Sinona's lawyer, advocate Dalim Mpofu. Among Sinona's concerns is the Commission's questions that he believes are not relevant according to the terms of reference and some repetitive questions.
But more than 50% or even 60% of those questions, you'll find that we actually just the answer is to refer you back to the transcript on many occasions. We do take the point, of course, that since he testified, there has been further evidence around the same issues. So not quibbling with that. But the issue is that it's quite oppressive.
Sinona's lawyers also claim evidence leaders have not furnished them with all the documents that they've requested while preparing for the testimony. Sinona is continuing with his testimony this morning. Khomotso Modise, Eyewitness News.
And a French appeals court has confirmed that Moroccan footballer star Achraf Hakimi will stand trial charged with raping a young woman. In February 2023, a woman then aged 24 told police in southeast Paris that Hakimi had raped her. The Paris Saint-Germain player and captain of the Moroccan national team, whose side are playing their second World Cup match on Friday against Scotland, has consistently denied the allegations. Shortly after the court delivered its ruling, Hakimi wrote on X that he had been waiting for this trial since day one. A date has not yet been announced for the start of the trial at the criminal court. Gold is trading at $4,138.02 an ounce. The rand is at 16.51 to the dollar, 21.77 to the pound, 18.86 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $79.88 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays along the M2 West. This is just as you approach the Crown interchange. That's due to an accident that happened near Boyson's Road. While traveling in Bedford View, we've got delays on the R24 West approaching the Kiluli's interchange. This is due to roadworks.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng. The temperatures will peak at highs between 16 and 19 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Police ballistics expert Lawrence Magotle has been granted bail.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with Clement Manyathela
On 702.
Let's Walk the Talk, streaming on the Prime Media Plus app,
DSTV channel 856,
92.7 and 106 FM.
Eight minutes after 11 o'clock. Dumelang, welcome to the third and final hour of the Clement Manyathela Show. Thank you for staying with us here on 702. It's time for our relationship feature.
Relationship issues,
relationship talk
on 702.
So, on our relationship feature this morning, we're discussing what Netflix's The Polygamist actually teaches us about relationships. And I've got Dudu Nhlabati Mantonsela, who's a relationship and life coach, joining us in studio. Have you watched it? The Netflix series, The Polygamist. It's dominating conversations across social media, workplaces. I'm sure at home you guys are talking about it on WhatsApp groups. And it's actually triggered an intense national conversation. The series is being viewed as sort of a magnifying glass held up to modern relationship dynamics, pain and betrayal. Viewers have flooded social media with reactions sharing how the show has reminded them of difficult experiences in their lives. Some have admitted that they were left emotional, while others praised the series for highlighting issues that many women face behind closed doors. So we're going to have a chat about what we can take from some of the themes and learn from what we have seen on the series. But I'm more interested in why so many of us sort of relate. Are we triggered? Is it confronting some of the beliefs we have? Let me know what your reflections have been on 011-883-0702. You can send your WhatsApps as well on 072-702-1702. Dudu, welcome back to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know where we should begin because there are so many different interpretations and triggers. A lot of people are triggered by Janasi, but some people are like, oh, but Joyce is also a bit of a problem.
My
She's
husband
almost
is
like
triggered by Madiba.
Madiba.
I'm like, why the side chick? Like, please, can we explain this?
So help us understand, why are so many of us triggered by this series, and why is the story so familiar to a lot of us?
So there's two things here. One is that people are looking at the various characters, even Jonas himself, and they are realizing that the reason why the characters behave the way they behave, the reason why you saw certain things being tolerated by these characters was simply because of the beliefs they held about themselves. So, you give an example with regards to Joyce. Joyce, the idea of her husband leaving her, somebody argued and said, maybe it's because she's financially dependent on this man. I'm like, she's married in community of property with this man, if you think about it, because they met in varsity, right? Mm. And she built up the company, and she even had the power to stop certain transactions from happening because of the fact that's how much influence she had.
But he could have changed the will at any point. I mean, Matiba, he was so intoxicated by Matiba.
But you can't change a marriage contract. If you married in community of property, she was going to get half.
But you can change the will?
Yeah, but if you did, I mean, still 50% guy at the end of the day. But I think what really triggers Joyce is identity crisis. She cannot imagine herself. She cannot imagine a version of her reality not being a wife or a mother. It's almost like impossible for her to fathom it. Then you also look at, for example, Madiba, and you look at her and you say, you feel that the only way you can be seen is if you conquer a man to an extent whereby he leaves his wife. So for her, the validation that she needed for society to say, I am seen, whatever her version of being seen is because I was able to conquer a high-profile man who has power, has all the choices in the world. I was able to conquer him to a point where he leaves his wife. So a lot of them engage in performance culture, right? They are performing to survive, right? Because if you look at even Jonas himself, he's engaged in a performance culture whereby he says, I need to come across like this in order to validate to the world that I'm no longer the poor guy. I have made it. I have the money and so forth. And there's these entrenched beliefs that they have. And they are so not aware of these beliefs and how they drive their behavior. And a lot of people looked at this and realized, I'm seeing a set of those beliefs that these people hold in me, right? And I don't even know, because I think the big thing is that a lot of women don't even know if they met a Jonas, they would be able to walk away. Because if you look at the various beliefs that hold these females back, if somebody came with that value proposition, and you have not internalized why that value proposition makes sense to you, would you have the confidence to walk away? And I think that's the real trigger, is that all these things that these women were doing in terms of enablers, people saw that in some form, it's almost like they call it a cognitive dissonance. I think that's how you pronounce it properly, whereby you know what's right, but deep down inside you have conflicting views. When no one is looking that I have a conflicting view. So that's why people can read all these motivational books and it says do A, B, C. But then they still revert to behavior that is the complete opposite of that. And that's because they hold those beliefs about themselves. And that's ultimately what drives the subconscious mind.
So what are those beliefs that we're holding? Because I'm trying to figure out what Jonasi offers beyond the materialistic stuff.
He offers validation. To Joyce is, I'm being validated that I'm married to a man and we can have this successful life. Perfect and family. Then, so if you now look at Joyce, and I think a glimpse of it was given with regards to the mom, right? In terms of why does she need that validation? She probably came from a society whereby being a wife is the ultimate prize, right? And it validates that I can take up space in society. Because ultimately, like I always say, we want to be seen. Because when we are seen, we feel like we can take up the spaces we want to take up in society. So we put up this whole entire performance to say, see me like this. Because I believe if I get the validation that you see me through my eyes, because we all want to be seen in our image, right? If you see me through my eyes, then you are validating that if I want to take up that space where I'm the mamfundisi or I'm the elder in the church and so forth, I don't have to justify why I'm there. So a lot of them are getting, especially Joyce and Madiba, they're getting validation from this man. This man is validated, even though he might not be giving them the validation. But the fact that he is with them and he sticks around validates to them that they are the people they think society should think they are.
Yeah. So one of the themes that I sort of was reflecting on after I watched it was how many of us in our attachment styles is very much influenced by what we experienced maybe when we were young and some of our traumas. And I look at Menzi, Jonas's son, and how he literally became like the father.
Yes.
And I look at Sarah from Essie's family, you know, and I'm like, you can see that Sarah is struggling. I mean, you've got a dad who has just ignored you for the past 22 years. I look at Mpume, Jonas's daughter, who is never going to trust a man again because all the men in her life growing up have just disappointed her. And I just thought, I think there's so much that we have seen, experienced growing up that we have sort of undermined, but it's actually contributed to who we have now become.
Exactly. And you know, I speak about the performance culture. And ultimately, if you look at why people engage in performance culture, so we are all performing. Every single day we wake up. And why do we perform? To survive, right? So you look at, for example, you were talking about the attachment styles. The attachment styles teach you what you need to do in order to survive and survive to the point where you either receive love or you survive to the point where you can be able to, what is it when you, well, we call it a survival tactic, whereby now you're accepting the fact that I'm not giving enough attention or, you know, they've abandoned me and so forth. So what you do is, I mean, if you look at attachment style, usually emotionally unavailable people are responding to the idea of inconsistent love in their world. And what they do is that they put up a performance to say, I'm strong and I don't need love. But it's a survival tactic. And one of the things that you're pointing out right now, which was a key question a friend of mine asked, said, could these characters be able to manage without surviving, without performing? So we look at Joyce from the outside and we say, but girl, you could have walked away from episode 1 and so forth and whatever. And the thing is, the biggest thing is that if Joyce had to go to society and admit that this is my shame is that I don't know who I am outside the context of marriage. My self-esteem is tied completely to this man and so forth. If she had to admit the shame, will she be received with care? And the question I'm asking is that we see all these characters, and this is why people are triggered. We see all these characters. We have judgments and opinions about these characters, even Jonas themselves. But ultimately, I think in the people's subconscious, they're realizing that these people are performing to survive. And maybe the question is, and this is where the internal battle happens, is that you're sitting there, you're judging Joyce, but yet deep down inside, you are a form of Joyce or a Joyce that's ready to emerge. And you cannot be able to go to society and say to society, actually, I think I'm a Joyce. Because what's going to happen to you? You're going to get judged for it. You're going to be seen as weak. You've seen have to justify why you have a low self-esteem and so forth. So, you know, yesterday I was having the conversation with my husband and I said, is this an individual thing to solve? And I know it's a very controversial take, but did society make Jonas? Is it as a result of how we expect people to survive navigating life that there's a Jonas? And is it a collective thing to care about, to say, how do we collectively then look at the world in order for us to not create people who feel they have to survive to a point they adopt personas like Jonas?
Yeah, because I mean, he also has his own, I mean, if he sat down and he was asked by a therapist, why? He would have his own justifications. I mean, he grew up without his dad. They didn't care. You know, he went to school, university, and Essie is the one who sort of helped him go to school. And I guess it explains why he felt the need to still come back, buy her the house, buy her the car as promised, because he was probably looking for a mother.
Exactly.
Because he never had one.
Exactly.
Essie was able to fill that void. So one of the biggest questions viewers keep asking is why the women stayed, because they did stay. And of course, people can remain in painful situations because of fear, because of hope, maybe attachment, identity. So my question is, how do these things keep people stuck? Like, why do people, even in the face, when it's so obvious that this is not good for you, but you stay?
Because of the fear. The fear that if I'm not associated with this identity, or, then because we attach identity to value.
Mm-hmm.
So my value in society is determined by the identity that I assume. Think about it, the art of manifesting, right? It says that first assume an identity, fake it until you make it. Because when you are able to present yourself in a certain way in society, it allows for certain doors to be opened.
Mm-hmm.
So if the things that you value the most require you to adopt a certain identity, you are going to hold on to that identity. And then the reason why you stay is because you fear so much. So let's make an example with Madiba, right? Everybody sees her as a gold digger, right? And so forth. And the thing is, yes, the biggest value she had was probably financial comfort, is one of the biggest values that she had, right? And that financial comfort was linked to her identity. Like, if I become this person, then I can get financial comfort. And she realized that I can't stay a side chick forever. I need to actually be a wife to actually properly secure the bag, because that's her biggest value. So the minute now Jonas, and now there's like multiple other people and so forth, you're not asking her to leave Jonas. You're asking her to abandon the thing that she values the most. And Jonas is an instrument to getting to that thing. And people might argue then, but, couldn't she get it? And she tried to get it, with other people, the minister and so forth and whatever. But probably Jonas was the most accessible vehicle in order to be able to get to the value that she's seeking.
Yeah. 011-883-0702 is the number to dial. I'd like to hear from you. What lessons are you taking from this series, The Polygamist on Netflix, that everyone is talking about? What relationship advice or even teachings, like what do you think we're learning about relationships from this series? And for some of you that may not be aware of the series, at the center of the story is Jonasi Komora. He's a wealthy businessman whose double life slowly unravels, leaving a trail of heartbreak, deception, and emotional devastation. And yet what has made the character so compelling is not that he is extraordinary, but that he is familiar. There are many viewers who are saying that they have encountered a Jonasi before. Some have loved one, some have survived one, and others have spent their lives trying to avoid one. So this series has really struck a nerve because it asks these deeply uncomfortable questions about modern relationships. Like, why do people stay in relationships that are hurting them? Why do partners repeatedly betray those who love them the most? And how does self-esteem, fear, emotional dependency shape the choices that we make in love? And at what cost, right, will you hold on to something that may already be broken? So we're exploring what this series teaches us about relationships, why it has triggered so many people, and what lessons we can take into our own lives. And what I want to ask you directly is, were you triggered by this series? Did it remind you of a relationship you've experienced or survived? Have you encountered a Jonasi in your life? And what did that experience teach you? And if you've stayed in a relationship longer than you should have, I'd like to know what's kept you there. Give us a call or send us a WhatsApp voice note. It's 24 after 11.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons.
3 to 6.
Musician Sipho Hotsticks Mabuse, a moment to reflect on passing of Abdullah Ibrahim.
Abdullah's passing is the saddest moment, particularly that it happens on the eve of the commemoration of the 16th of June. And he's always said to me, we always speak about getting this thing together.
Yes.
Let's do it, Sipho. And lo and behold, John, Abdullah is gone, and the opportunity to make music with him has passed me by.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
The XXL Savings Championship is here, and with Checkers, everyone can save. Get deals like Nescafe Classic Instant Coffee, 200 or 230 grams, any two for 219 Rand. Parmalat Yogurt Selected Variants, 1 kg, any two for 75 Rand. And Head & Shoulders shampoo or conditioner, 400 mils for $89.99. Valid until 21 June, only at Checkers.
Everyone gets insurance for the moment something goes wrong, and when it does, you need the peace of mind of knowing your claim will be handled fairly. Outsurance keeps outperforming. The Ombudsman, an independent body that rules on complaints, confirmed in their 2025 annual report that Outsurance had the lowest overturned ratio of complaints received. So why would you want to be insured with anyone else? Get a quote and switch today. Call 08600 60,000 or visit outsurance.co.za. Licensed, insured, and FSP. T's and C's and information online.
Running an NPO is challenging, but proving your credibility to donors doesn't have to be. Izinga Assist, South Africa's leading NPO verification platform, follows a rigorous process in awarding your organization with a trusted 5-star rating and official digital certification. Get verified and become visible to thousands of donors by joining Izinga Assist today at izassist.org. Doing good, done better. Proudly supported by Primedia Cares.
Experience pure country allure as a VIP at this year's Hollywood Bets Durban July with Spina Zonke. Stand a chance to win VIP experiences or a share of 1.2 million rand in cash. Bet 2 rand or more on selected slots to enter. This is your moment. Release your spirit, release your victory, release your glamour with Spina Zonke. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
702 and Corporates That Care caught up with the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa about how they're reconnecting communities through safe, reliable, and affordable rail transport.
When you talk about the scholars, pensioners, youth, any customer, one of the key things we focus on is customers must feel safe in the environment. So you find not only securitization of our assets, but also our customers, securing them, making them feel safe. We've got security on the trains. It's got the CCTV cameras on the trains, our stations. So the environment we need to look at, and that is critical. Part of our secondary mandate, Ongani, is also to generate revenue of our assets. We own significant property, land, but also other assets like fiber.
Visit prasa.com to learn more about their services, projects, and community initiatives. Corporates That Care with the Passenger Rail Agency of South Africa on 702. Let's walk the talk. Relationship issues?
Relationship Talk
on 702.
28 minutes after 11 o'clock. Let's go straight to your calls and WhatsApps 011-883-0702. Lehlogonolo, you calling us from Midrand. Good morning.
Morning, Madimeja. Morning to you and the guest and the team.
Sure.
Madimeja, this is my observation of the whole Jonasi and Bobo Elsie's issue. That relationship was never about Polygamist at the beginning. The guy had self-control, but all he didn't have is to confront the wife and say to the wife that there is Elsie in the picture. And Elsie, I want Elsie to be the part of the picture, okay? His self-control. Then came in the other lady that the Barkemang, the one that was called the second wife now. Then came in Matipa, okay? When Matipa came in, he then had the guts to tell the wife, to confront the wife and say to the wife, here's the situation, I want Matipa to be my second wife. You understand? That's when it became a polygamist relationship now. That's when he had the guts to make it officially that it's a polygamist relationship.
It was at the suggestion of Joyce, remember?
Yeah, it was then a suggestion of Joyce.
Well,
so Joyce gave him the guts. Joyce gave him the guts to do that. I'm saying this because, Madimeja, I'm in a polygamist relationship myself.
Okay.
And the fact that I was able to tell my wife that I have this reason to take this second wife and become part of us. I did that because of there was a reason, and I've got self-control. I don't want to bring in a third wife because there is a reason why I brought in the second wife. So to him, he didn't have self-control. He now wanted to have all these women around him. You understand?
Do you mind sharing that reason for the second wife?
You see, I was in a relationship with the mother of my kid.
Yeah.
Okay. In the middle of that relationship, we started having issues. I then met someone.
So you cheated on her?
So I cheated on her.
Okay, got you.
I then met someone.
Mm-hmm.
I then started staying with that person and ended up having to go and lobola the person. Okay?
Wait, lobola'd her before you spoke to the mother of your children?
No. You see, at the time, me and my mother, the mother of the children, had actually had a separation because of this first one.
Okay.
So what then happened? I realized during the relationship that we now having an issue with kids, balancing the relationship between the first wife and the kids. You understand? And I sort of like didn't like it. I kept on kikuza. It came to a stage whereby I ended up saying, okay, I'm now gonna go back to the mother of my kids and bring in the mother of my kids and becoming another wife in this relationship. So for me, it was balancing between my marriage and my kids, so that my kids can always have access to me at any time they want. She can also have access to me, hoping Nalena will all add into this family.
Oh, got you. Lehlogonolo in Midrand, thank you. I'll get Duty to respond to that after the headlines. It's 11:32. Bali, good morning.
Thanks, Clement. Good morning. Police ballistics expert Lawrence Magwenya has been granted bail. The Pretoria Magistrates Court has ruled that Magwenya has shown during his bail application that his release would not jeopardize or interfere with his upcoming trial. The senior forensic officer was arrested last month on allegations that he tampered with 2 high-profile murder investigations. Lawyers representing embattled KZN Hawks boss Lesija Sinona have highlighted several concerns with the Madlanga Commission ahead of his testimony today. Sinona is back in the hot seat and has roped in prominent advocate Dalim Mpofu onto his legal team. He is expected to testify on the multi-million rand Port Shepstone drug theft from the Hawks offices, which previous witnesses claim only he had the keys to. And the South African Reserve Bank has launched its museum. The public museum is focused on South Africa's economy and financial history. Construction began in 2022, with the bank describing the development as a long-term investment in both its operations and public engagement. Well, those are the headlines. This EWN and more at midday or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M2 West between Harderberg Road and the Boysons Road exit. That's due to a major accident seen there while traveling in Bedfordview, queuing traffic on the N3 North towards the Gilulis interchange coming out of Van Buren Road. Those are roadworks. And there's also queuing traffic on the N12 West towards the Gilulis interchange. If you are traveling in Cresta, we've got an accident reported on Beyers Nadia Drive. It happened right near the N1 exit. It's causing delays. And there's also queuing traffic on Pretoria Main Road towards the Baklu Bridge. Please be on the lookout there. More updates at the top of the hour. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Relationship issues?
Relationship Talk
On 702.
25 minutes before 12 o'clock. I want to come to more of your calls and WhatsApps in a moment. We are reflecting on The Polygamist. It's a new series on Netflix, and we're talking about what that series teaches us about relationships. And I'd like your own reflections. And maybe you're a Jonasi, maybe you're a Joyce, maybe you're a Matipa, or you were a Matipa at some point, or an Essie, or you are the kids, from Joyce's family or from Essie's family. What are your reflections? Are you seeing a bit of yourself in some of these characters? Dudu, before we go to some more calls and WhatsApps, you heard what Lehlogonolo said.
Yes.
Any reflections?
I think my biggest concern was that with what he said, the option that he chose, was it for his benefit or the benefit of the whole entire family? And I think he'll argue the whole entire family,
But I mean, if he wanted to balance the ability to manage a happy home with his new wife and also be able to have access to his family, there's various ways to do that. And I wonder if he actually explored that, or this was the first one because it was the most convenient to him. Because what you find, and this is how a Jonas, not that I'm saying Lehlonon is a Jonas, but this is the makings of what a lot of Jonases do, is that what they do is that they make the decisions that are either self-preserving or the decisions that make them happy. And all the women in their lives, everybody else, finds a compromising decision because they either want to keep the person or they want to keep the peace. And for me, that becomes a big concern because what happens is, people ask, like, how does a Jonas come about? Because most of the time, a Jonas has the conviction that I'm doing the right thing. This is the right thing to do, or I'm doing the thing that makes the most sense based on their view of the world. But they fail to take into consideration the impact of them doing what they believe is the right thing or the thing that's most convenient to them on other people. And that's where then the chaos, the resentment starts happening because the other people aren't necessarily feeling that this is the decision that made the most sense to everyone and that also honors my needs.
Yeah. Here's a WhatsApp.
Hi, Clement. I just want to say that from the Polygamist, what I'm taking away or what I have learned is that in loving someone, don't lose yourself. Do not lose yourself in the name of loving someone. Thank you for the great show.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't lose yourself. I've got a message here from Anonymous who says, "Hi, Clement and Dudu. I'm a Joyce. I stayed too long when I should have chosen myself and my kids. Eventually, I left, depressed and exhausted from the emotional roller coaster that both the kids and I were going through. After he cheated over and over again and had a child outside of our relationship, that's when I realized that I was going to lose myself. He even claimed he was a polygamist, yet when we started, we never agreed to that. I stayed longer because I grew up in a family that had both a mama and a papa, and I didn't know what it would look like to raise kids on my own. The lesson I took from this is that the toxic relationships we stay in can actually hurt our children. It also taught me to re-examine the role of in-laws. They will forever be loyal to their own." And I think what this Anonymous who says she's a Joyce is saying is what you said earlier, that it's the fear. You don't know. Like, you grew up in a family, mom and dad, and you don't know what it's going to look like.
Exactly. And that fear can keep you back. Yeah. And it's a real thing. We look at it and we say, when you look at Joyce and you're like, from episode 1, you can leave. But if you've ever found yourself with the insecurities and the fears that Joyce have, you don't understand how big that fear is, right? And that's the empathy that's why I'm saying I was more able to empathize with characters than I was triggered by characters because I understood the psychological need behind why they feel they have to exhibit certain behaviors. And I think, for her to say also, I couldn't imagine a life where I'm a single parent because I've grown up in a context whereby my whole idea of who I should be as an adult, and even though this is not something that probably was preached at home or expectation at home, but we form a story about ourselves. And that story is also informed by what we see, what we grow up hearing, and what is valued where we come from. And she had formed a story, and that story never had a version of herself being a single mom. So you can imagine how scary it is, even if you have all the resources in the world, even if you're not financially dependent to this man. But to be able to go out into this world and say, I am Dudu, and the version I am right now is the scariest version of myself that I could ever embrace. Yeah. It's a very hard thing.
It is. 20 minutes before 12. Dineo and Anthony, I'll start with you after the break.
The pain of losing a loved one is never easy. It will leave you feeling overwhelmed. At Clientele, we understand that burying loved ones with dignity truly matters. Our funeral plans pay out cash within just 24 hours, and you receive 200 Rand airtime when you claim to make those important calls. Plus, we cover up to 13 people on one plan. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
This Father's Day weekend, put your driving skills to the test at Hyde Park Corner with the Ferrari Simulator Challenge, brought to you by Zebra Square Automobile and Pablo Clark Racing. Set your fastest lap, climb the leaderboard, and stand a chance to win incredible prizes, including a Pablo Clark Racing experience worth 20,000 Rand and a 10,000 Rand Hyde Park Corner gift card. Entry is 100 per attempt, and the action takes place at Hyde Park Centre Court from Friday to Sunday. Terms and conditions apply.
Yo, nothing humbles you like a cold shower.
Happens fast, eh? 1 minute you're living your best life.
Next minute you're questioning everything.
Fair. Here's a quick tip. If your geezer's acting up, don't wait for disaster. Small fixes now save big problems later.
And remember, if you buy cheap, you will shower in the lounge.
We've got loads more tips where that came from.
Quickart, #1 in water heating solutions. Quickart,
add warmth to life.
You know when your people are giving their best, not because they're pushed or pressured, but because they feel supported. And support is making sure they're covered. So if something happens, they can get the care they need. FlexiCare Health Insurance makes it simple for every business to protect their people with affordable health cover. You care, we cover. For a tailored FlexiCare quote, speak to your financial advisor today. FlexiCare is underwritten by ANG, a licensed non-life insurer and FSP, and administered by Discovery Health, a licensed FSP.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
It's your last chance to enter. Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is closing entries soon. And this year we're celebrating entrepreneurs who've turned personal challenges into businesses that make a real difference. Catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa every morning to meet the finalists and hear their inspiring stories. Go to igniteyourbusiness.co.za or primemediaplus.com to enter. You could win 200,000 Rand and the recognition your business deserves. T's and C's apply. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
Relationship issues?
Relationship talk.
On 702.
It's 17 minutes before 12 o'clock. Straight to your calls now. Dineo in Pretoria, hi.
Hi, Clement and your guest. How's it?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, man. My takeaway from this series is that as women, we need to love ourselves. We've seen this movie over and over again with our grandmothers and our grandfathers and our aunts, and we've seen it, so it's nothing bizarre. So what I've realized is, Clement, is ladies, so we need to put our needs first. They never did. Yeah, they never did, and they will never love us. So it is time to love ourselves, put our needs properly, and then just flourish as women. I don't know if you've realized, the minute a man comes to a woman's life, there's bound to be chaos, guys, especially in the days that we're living in right now. So ladies, let's protect ourselves, let's make our own money, and let's love ourselves. That's my takeaway.
Yeah, Dineo in Pretoria, thank you. Anthony in Greenstone, hi.
Hi, Clement. How's it? How are you doing?
Good.
Thanks for taking the call. Great,
Thank
man.
you.
Clement, I'm a product of a Jonas. What I mean by that is my father had 16 kids. So I've got 15 siblings. He had 4 wives, and my mother was the first wife. She very early on divorced my dad. I've seen it all, and more importantly, I've seen this play over, in many other situations. I mean, I've got friends as well where, they've got wives, but they've got other wives in different provinces. These things play out. I've seen the LCs, so just as much as you have the Jonases, I've seen so many LCs, and I know of many LCs as well. I suppose, being the son of a Jonas, the most important message that is quite heartfelt for me, is where out of all of the situation, at least Jonas looked after his kids from a South African perspective, and not just maybe just South Africa, Southern Africa, Black African. You find that you have a lot of absent fathers, and that is the most hurtful part of it all. That through this whole process of men playing out to be Jonases and women playing out to be Elsies, that kids must be looked after. Don't have absenteeism that prevails. That's for me the message that I want to leave out of all of this. But funerals are very interesting. funerals are very interesting when you get to see all the different families come together. When situations such as the Jonases play out.
Yeah.
And it's also different, where you see the women fighting different women, over a man. It's very interesting.
Yeah, true. Anthony, thank you so much for sharing your reflections, man, in Greenstone. Lerato in Pretoria, hi.
Hi, Clement, how are you?
I'm all right. Go ahead.
I'm good, thanks. Like you just said, I think I didn't necessarily feel triggered, but I did have, it did raise some certain questions. I think most of us, I think why it triggered most people is that we either one of the characters or we know someone who is the character or we're living that life, But I think it also raised, for me, it was just like in terms of where we are in terms of society in 2026, where we see this thing happening more and more often. And men having multiple partners, mistresses, side chicks, mistresses, all of that, So again, my takeaway was also like, I think the confusion here is if that the movie was a true reflection of what polygamy is, because yes, there was a lot of philandering, and Joyce was the one that introduced polygamy into the conversation. But ultimately, one also has to ask why each and every one of those characters held on to their partners, including Jonathan, because he also decided he held on to Joyce. At some point, he was willing to leave Joyce and stay with Mistress, but because Joyce had insisted and was holding on and determined to keep Jonas, that he eventually decided to also stick around, and he didn't want to let go. He kept insisting to Joyce that they're going to be parted by death. And even with Matipa, he didn't want to let go of Matipa. He didn't want to let go of Elsie. Why was the reason that he didn't want to let go of those things? What did they feed in him that he needed to hold on to? Besides the ego, I don't think it was just a matter of ego. They must have served something more than just how she comes across as this big dog in society. And also, like I say, in this day and age where status is now, like we mentioned earlier on, I mean, status is the thing. We stick in certain relationships because somewhat of status, and maybe it's an innate animalistic trait we have, where we want to be closer to the top. We want to be close to secure and to the closer to the biggest provider, whatever. But then, oh gosh, I've lost my train of thought.
No, but I think you're making a good point,
Lerato.
I get your point, absolutely. Thank you so much, Lerato in Pretoria. Dudu?
And, to Lerato's point, saying why do we want proximity to power and status, is that, the closer you are to the top, the more you are seen. I think, it really...
That's how the system is set up.
Yeah, but I like what Anthony said around Jonas being a provider and how a lot of the Jonases, they are not a provider. I think what the series also showed us was the socio-economic costs of a Jonas and a system that supports Jonas. And I intentionally use the words a system that supports Jonas because Jonas wouldn't be Jonas if there were no enablers in his life. But we now see the ripple effects of having a Jonas. One, Jonas then spreads HIV because of his doings. And the impact, the socio-economic impact of that, right? And also having kids who come out of a broken home and what that means and the chaos they are more likely to create to other people and the costs that's associated with it, the mental health cost, the maybe to a point where you could even tie the cost of correctional services to this, the healthcare cost and so forth and whatever. And I think, it is important, and I think it's Lerato at the end, is that society, we keep produces Jonases, right? And I think right now, I don't know if we're producing them at a magnitude that is higher than before, or there's more information that is available to us. The world is more transparent than it was 50 years ago. So now we are actually not only seeing the impact of Jonas from a micro level, but we're actually seeing it from a macro level. And we are asking ourselves, can we afford as a collective to constantly produce Jonases because of the chaos that comes and the ripple effect that comes with having a Jonas? And I think for me, that was one of the biggest takeaway of the show, was the socio-economic costs of a Jonas, especially amongst a Black collective, which is a whole collective that's just still trying to build itself up. Can we afford to have a Jonas when we have so many other issues that we need to focus on and put our resources behind? And I think that was, for me, the biggest takeaway.
10 minutes before 12.
Excuse me. Hello? Excuse me. I'm hungry. Hungry for equal education. Hungry for employment. I'm hungry for dignified healthcare. I'm hungry. I'm hungry for all the things our parents fought for. On June 16, 1976, Tsietsi Mashinini had the same hunger. Read The Gripping Story, A Burning Hunger by Linda Schuster. Available at all good bookstores. Feed your mind.
This Father's Day weekend, put your driving skills to the test at Hyde Park Corner with the Ferrari Simulator Challenge, brought to you by Zebra Square Automobile and Pablo Clark Racing. Set your fastest lap, climb the leaderboard, and stand a chance to win incredible prizes, including a Pablo Clark Racing experience with 20,000 Rand and a 10,000 Rand Hyde Park Corner gift card. Entry is 100 Rand per attempt, and the action takes place at Hyde Park Center Court from Friday to Sunday. Terms and conditions apply.
Sure, they aced it. The Championship's Wimbledon experience with the Mzansi Advantage is back at Amex Tennistown Monte Casino between 11 and 12 July 2026. Enjoy VIP hospitality, the ultimate big screen experience, a kids fun zone, and so much more. Buy your tickets now on Howler and get 50% off on limited tickets when you use your Amex card. Tennis is better with Amex. American Express Cards is operated under license in South Africa by Nedbank, a licensed financial services and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Clientele is here to safeguard you and your family with compassion because life happens. Be part of a family that truly cares. Our funeral dignity plans have helped South Africans bury their loved ones with dignity for more than 30 years. Let us help you create a meaningful tribute that honors your life and those of your loved ones. We pay out within 24 hours and you will get double accident cover with a Clientele funeral plan. Our plans are affordable. Pick the option that suits your needs. It's easy to apply. No medical examinations and no paperwork. SMS funeral to 31586. That's 31586. Clientele Life is an authorized FSP and licensed life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Relationship issues?
Relationship Talk
On 702.
7 minutes before 12 o'clock, we're just about to wrap up our reflections on The Polygamist, a series on Netflix. We've been reflecting on what it teaches us about relationships. I've got messages I want to read here, and I'll get Dudu to respond before we wrap up. One says, Clement, I've learned that people stay in relationships for their own emotional satisfaction and comfort, sometimes because they fear being unattached. I've also learned there's nothing wrong with women who are cheated on. Some men cheat because they're healing what they lack or chasing sexual fantasies. This series triggered me. I was in a relationship with a divorced man. I helped him heal and we had a good relationship. When I found out he was cheating, he said he never promised me marriage and didn't owe me anything. He moved on with his life while I was still broken. I can never be the same person again. He only cared about himself and his desires, just like Jonasi. After this series, my heart is broken again. That's a message there from Anonymous. Yo, I'm sorry, hey? Another one says, Clement, hi. I was raised in a polygamous family, and honestly speaking, I never loved the setting, but now I've just realized that I might be a polygamist too, because I keep on cheating on my partner with several partners, and she has never caught me although she's not against polygamy. So my question is it possible to inherit polygamistic behavior because the woman I cheat with loves the fact that I tell them that I have a partner? And Clement, it's several women I've dated, and still they all bought my story. Interesting. So he does tell the people he cheats on his partner with that I do have someone at home, and they get it.
The question is, he said, can you inherit the traits? And I think first we need to clarify, there are good polygamists and bad polygamists, right? Jonas was an extreme representation of when polygamy goes terribly wrong.
And it's the different dynamics, you know. It wasn't in a traditional sense.
Exactly.
As we know it.
And if you have not been traumatized by polygamy, then your idea of polygamy is you don't have any negative views about it. And because he grew up probably in a polygamous situation whereby it probably worked for whatever reasons it worked, it's not that he inherited it, but he doesn't have a negative association with it. So he has no reason to move away from it.
Dudu, thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, then.
It's going up to 3 minutes before 12.
Ask yourself, what matters most? Is it being there for their first steps and still around for their first dance? Knowing you're not just covered, but cared for. Bonitas goes beyond benefits and claims. We're in your corner for what matters most. Bonitas, medical aid for South Africa. Voted #1 medical aid in the Ask Africa Orange Index Awards for the 2nd year running. Visit bonitas.co.za and find your plan.
When the people of Joburg unite for 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk on Sunday, the 26th of July, your safety is our priority. Working closely with the South African Police Service, the JMPD, private security teams, emergency services, city wardens, and other key stakeholders, there's a complete and comprehensive safety plan in place every step of the way. And there's safe park and ride to the start at Ellis Park, thanks to Gautrain and Prasa. So come along and walk the iconic inner city with us by entering on primemediaplus.com now. The 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Joburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie. Babize bonke, more on primemediaplus.com.
This winter is a cold one. Keep the heat in and the cold out with Cash Build. Save on electricity and keep your home warm with our top quality ceiling insulation. Plus, upgrade to our energy-efficient geysers and geyser blankets to keep your water hot for longer, especially in the mornings. Don't turn into an ice block this winter. Head in-store to your nearest Cash Build for quality insulation and energy-efficient geysers. Cash Build.
Coming up
on the Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
Good morning, Mandy.
Good morning, Clement.
How are you doing?
I've been watching The Polygamist, so...
Are you also like there? Yeah, I've
like
finished
halfway
it.
through.
I'm going to watch 3 more episodes today. But I finished it. I'm just going to go back to the episode I thought were interesting.
I was debating on air whether I would finish it or not, so I'm taking it slow.
Okay.
Unlike the rest of the country.
Yeah, indeed. What's popping today?
I'm too busy following the other soap operas, like is IDAC at war with crime intelligence.
There?
So look, I'll make this point on air, but I think that on the one side, you've got somebody who's like Mkhwanazi, who is this media darling, who was the catalyst for the Madlanga Commission. And then on the other side, people are quick to vilify Andrea Johnson. But I mean, I've known her personally for nearly 20 years. She is very principled. And I know that there are people calling for her to resign, but she is very much, integrity and principle. But she's not a media darling.
Yeah, but I also hope that she can step up as a leader.
Yes.
When you are running an organization like IDAC that is so important and there are all these stories that are being told, you need to show up. Come on, speak out, release, say something. And I just feel like she's just chilling there in a corner and hoping that it's all going to evaporate. As a leader, that's not what you do. And as you say, you're working against a group, and I call them factions. And I'm not saying these are bad, but there are factions here that are fighting each other. But you're working against another group, as you say, always in the media, loved, darlings. You can't just sit back.
I was standing outside Jacob Zuma's Forest Town home when that skirmish took place between the police and the Scorpions. And we know from past experience how dangerous it can be when two different law enforcement agencies are at war with each other. So we'll be looking at that. The KZN Hawks boss is at the Madlanga Commission. The police ballistics expert has been granted bail. Hundreds are gathering outside the Zimbabwean consulate in Cape Town, and it's Friday.
Spots
and good things too.
That's what's coming up on the Midday Report. Thank you for listening to the Friday edition of the Clement Manyathela Show. Back again on Monday between 9 and 12. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Bye-bye.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon. I'm Bali Dlamini. Police ballistics expert Lawrence Magwenya has been granted bail. The Pretoria Magistrates Court has ruled that Magwenya has shown that his release would not jeopardize or interfere with his upcoming trial. The senior forensic officer was arrested last month on allegations that he